Monday morning on 104.5 The Zone, and a victory Monday that you likely went into the weekend not expecting. It starts right now, boys and girls. 615-737-1045. Titans 32, Texans 27. Did the Titans put the Texans on fraud watch over the weekend? So. Or did the Titans just give us a proof of concept of what they could be at their very best? Lots of good vibes coming out of Houston to the team that still owns all of the history of Houston football as well. Tennessee has a dream weekend. Everything that needed to happen did. And if you listen to Ramon Foster on Friday, he told you all of it was about to happen. We take all of your reaction on that. Austin Price at 8:20 and Jeffrey Simmons at 9 o'clock. 615-737-1045. Monday, November the 25th. What's going on? Good morning.
Hey.
What's going on?
I guess most of us as shocked as D'Amico Ryans was as his quarterback ran out of bounds, huh? I just saw the reaction of that.
Yeah, the reaction was all over the internet last night.
Was that everybody's reaction from the weekend in general, though? Like D'Amico,
more so college football for me.
God, yes.
That was the majority for me.
NFL was not outdone yesterday in terms of chaos.
No, it was not. I mean, Carolina played Kansas City toe-to-toe. I mean,
Cowboys.
What are we talking about?
At this point, Cowboys. I feel like Kansas City is the real fraud out of them all.
Oh,
Kansas City?
Yeah.
They took a W.
They've been playing a lot of close games. They shouldn't be playing that close.
Yeah, I feel you.
But it is the NFL. I guess all that matters is that you win.
Yes. Caleb Williams taking shots to Sam Darnold and everything over the weekend, said, and he's got Sam Darnold playing well. Like, what the hell is that supposed to mean? And he got Sam Darnold playing well, man. This is why we love sports, man. This is why, surprised. It was a shocker this past weekend, too. On Friday night, I went to the Beach High School versus Springfield.
Springfield, big W.
Crazy W, man.
Huge W. That's right.
That was not supposed to happen.
That's the headline of the weekend. All the chaos that happened in football. Ramon's going to make it about him and go to humble Hendersonville. No. There ain't nothing humble about you starting there, Ramon.
No,
I'm
my
kidding.
brother. Like that, but that was the entire weekend. Like, it was surprise after surprise after surprise. And lo and behold, man, Titans with a big old dub. With a big old
huge
dub
win. Very big win.
32-27. Will Levis is sacked 8 times. It didn't matter.
8 of them.
For the ultimate result. 18-24, 278, 2 touchdowns and a pick. How angry were the people in Houston, Texas?
Can I say?
That's why I asked you. I would like for you to say, yes.
The hate is real, y'all. Like, we're walking into the stadium, there's this cocky aura about them. Like, they legitimately felt like, okay, all right, this is just the Titans, and et cetera, right? Walking back to, like, the press box that I was going to upstairs, 8th floor, very nice facility they have. Like, one of the security workers, it was a group of them. And one of the ladies said, and I'm walking by and she could barely see me at that point. And she's looking over her shoulder a little bit. She's like, and they got the nerve. They got the nerve to be talking about the Cowboys. Look at us. Then she got quiet when I walked back, and I started laughing. She said, you know I ain't lying. I'm not lying. They got the nerves to compare themselves to the Cowboys. We ain't no better than them. And they started going in on C.J. Stroud, and they got too cocky about themselves, and they not too good. And, man, hey. You wanted to be a fly on the wall for that conversation right there. Like, they were legitimately mad. Like, upstairs, like the media room where they feed you and everything in the press box, very nice too. So I was sitting down with some of their workers and stuff like that, other people of the press. I was just like, man, y'all got a nice spread. This is a cool, like, y'all got a nice little get up here and everything. Like, I ain't seen nobody present it the way y'all do. After the game, that guy was like, hey, you said our food was good up here. Don't talk about us bad in Nashville. I was like, what are you talking about? I'm not going to say anything.
You do have to talk about the game. The food was good. The game.
They were legitimately like mad though. Like they packed it in for that game.
You could tell in the stands too, because the CBS broadcast a couple times went to the stands when there were, clearly good things happening for the Titans.
Yeah.
And I guess the fans were just upset and they were chirping on the sideline. And then I can't remember what play it was, but the one player went to the stands and handed lifted up the ball, and then everything was fine again. So clearly they were having personality changes throughout the game because it was that type of game where we felt like we were on a roller coaster.
No doubt, their face dropped when Ching ran the 70-yarder. That between that one and how much Love You Blue they were down there. Like, they legitimately tried to take it. Like, there was a guy on the sideline that was working for the Texans that had an old Derek's hat in black with the light blue and red. Like, it was almost like their throwback Texans jerseys that they're trying to put out there or whatever. Like, they're really trying to take as much as they possibly can from, like, Love You Blue.
Oh, we'll talk about that as the show continues because Hannah McNair had some comments in the media this week. Ownership family of the Houston Texans. I've got my Oilers blue on today. I have the right to wear it as a Titans fan. They do not have the right to anything that looks like this. It feels good today. These games mean a little bit more. Brian Callahan mentioned it going into the week. Look, you beat Houston in this organization, especially when you're not supposed to. That means more than beating anyone else with the way the Adams family was treated by the city of Houston. Good for Brian Callahan. Good for the Titans. Good for Rand Carthon. The entire organization took a step yesterday in Houston.
This is, I said this to somebody, I felt like this is where we've made a lot of comparisons to the guy up north in the NFC North, right? And Dan Campbell. That first year he had a signature win or two, right? After their bye week and everything. And I had to, hopefully. I had that feeling of just like, okay, well, is this the one that gets you over the hump to our, Will said earlier, like the proof of concept of offense, team, just camaraderie and just the fight. Like, that's what I felt like they had yesterday, man. And it I'm hoping it translates the same way it did for the team up north, the Lions, that is.
Yeah, I mean, this was the positive about this schedule at this point. If you did see things in terms of stepping in the right direction, which they had for the previous two games. And that's why when the guys were talking about, we have hopes that with that many division games left, we can capture some of those. And that in its own right is going to give you confidence in your team that you're moving forward in the right direction. But this was the topper to start it all off. Hopefully they can use some of that confidence down the stretch here with these games to get some more wins. But for them to go into Houston and beat them, that to me is definitely a statement for this team where they're at right now, at least.
Titans have now matched the amount of wins, to your point about Detroit, that Dan Campbell had in year one as the head coach of the Detroit Lions. 3.
Again, they got to write their own script on how this movie is going to play out as a staff and everything. But this is one of those, a good team that we think anyway, right? Even though they might be on fraud alert, like a good team in a division as it stands.
Absolutely.
I'm not taking anything away from them. I do think they're a good team. But for you to be counted out, I didn't pick them last weekend. So I'm sure most of the big boards on big networks didn't either. This was one of those games where the Titans, I thought, even after the 80-yarder to start the game and the quick touchdown, from that point on, like, they controlled much as they possibly could. When they grabbed it, they did not let go. It didn't feel like it in the stadium that they were about to lose. It just didn't.
It was essentially a proof of concept game. This was your proof of concept of what the Tennessee Titans can be under Brian Callahan at their best. And this game, I mean, they did about 4 different things that you can never do and win NFL games. They gave up another kick return that probably should have been a touchdown, or an 80-yard kick return that set up a touchdown one play later. They threw a pick 6. They they took 8 sacks.
Red zone fumble. Tony Pollard.
And a red zone fumble. That's 4 things. Usually you do one of those on the road against a winning team, and you're going to take it out.
Oh, and by the way, they gave up 8 sacks.
Sorry, I
didn't hear the 8 sacks part. And that's the thing that I think makes me feel.
I was going to say, Jaquan backing you up like that, too. Jaquan backing you up like, and he muffing the punt. You mentioned the muff punt, didn't you?
No, I did not.
The muff punt also.
Here's the thing, though. When you score points, which they don't usually do, we hold it at 17 almost every single game. When you score points and you make mistakes, like Will said, you can survive sometimes in games. And they put 32 points up on the board. We do not see that usually from a Titans team. And boom, there you go.
Even a pathway to get those. Like the flow of how they executed plays yesterday, this is where you hope to see the Brian Callahan offense.
615-737-1045. I'd love to hear your reaction to Titans and Texans yesterday. Austin Price going to join us a day earlier today at 8:20. It is a shorter week. We'll have Brett Hubbs on Wednesday, so we moved Austin up to today. We'll have all our guests pretty much out of their normal times for these 3 days since we are just on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week. But a lot of Titans today. Lots of your reaction. 615-737-1045. We'll start our Monday off the way we always do with headlines coming up next.
Did you know that up to 50% of air you breathe in your home comes from your crawl space? Have you ever looked in your crawl space either? I get it. Most of us don't even want to know what's in there, but moisture in your crawl space can create unhealthy issues that can make their way into the air you breathe every day in your home. It's Ramon Foster, and this is where United Structural Systems can help. USS has been keeping homes dry and stable in Middle Tennessee since 1994, so you know they aren't going anywhere. Help control moisture and the musty smells with mold treatment and crawl space encapsulation that comes with the USS guarantee. That's right. Encapsulation helps reduce high humidity in your crawl space, help deter mold and mildew, and protects your crawl space from pests and wood rot. Turn your crawl space into a healthy space. Call USS for all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs at 615-488-7855. That's 615-488-7855. Or find them online at USSTN.com.
Find you people in your life who are as consistent as Nick Westbrook-Akine finding the end zone. Titans beat the Texans 32-27. Reaction Monday is off and running. 615-737-1045. Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, Will Bowling. Headlines, please.
Headlines,
from Titans
please.
Texans.
The comeback boys is what I would call that one.
Okay.
Nice.
Comeback boys.
Roller coaster win. Titans ride in right direction.
Well-oilered machine.
I hate you.
Is what I will go with.
For being so good.
For the Tennessee Titans yesterday. The 33rd team says quarterbacks that got sacked 8+ times had a completion percentage above 75% of the time and won the game since 2000. Will Levis. End of list.
Yeah.
He was 18-24, 278, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, 75% completion percentage, 123.3 QB rating. Despite the 8 sacks, guys, he found a way to get the job done.
This is where the conversation, when you got a good enough guy, though, this is where it's at, like overcoming bad plays, overcome sacks, where a lot of coaches have said, like, screw those sacks. We don't care. Like, we as offensive linemen absolutely hate them, right? Mm-hmm. I think earlier in the game, 2 of the 4, like, that happened in, like, the first half, they were to him. And I'm just like, all right, you eat those things. One time I was like, get rid of the ball. And then I think the next play ended up throwing it to NWI for a touchdown. Like, that defense is going to go at you. But these moments right here, this moment that happened, I want to say this, it's not like any other moment either. Like what happened to Will Levis, what happened with Will Levis yesterday, we've yet to see this. Right. I think this showing from him and the team is better than what happened in Atlanta. That's just where I'm at. Like there was a lot of negativity. There was some bad plays, and there was a lot of good moments, and you overcame the feeling of like being down and out and losing and on the road and everybody against you. This was a moment to where the sacks didn't matter, the turnovers didn't matter, the bad field positioning didn't matter, and you went out and won games. We hadn't seen this version of Will Levis ever in my mind. Not even the Atlanta game.
Yeah, and, you know, who knows what we'd be talking about if they lost the game. Likely we'd be talking about the sacks, right? But because you overcome that and because you find a way to win, and that is what we said even when Will Levis returned 3 games ago. What do you need to see out of Will Levis to convince you that he's headed in the right direction? Or that could maybe flip your opinion on him being this team's franchise quarterback? And many of us said we just need to see him get some wins. Well, here's the win, right? We saw him moving in the right direction the last 2 weeks. Then you come into Houston. You do still have some mistakes, and you did take some of those sacks. It was probably on you, a handful of those. But when it's all said and done, your mind was able to stay right enough to find a way to win. And he did that. So I can't take anything away from Will Levis. Does he still have things to work on? Absolutely. That's not the point of the conversation. The point of the conversation is he good enough to will you to a win? And he was on this day.
Yeah. So do you guys think this is Will Levis's best performance at a Titans jersey?
Best performance?
Titans or Oilers jersey? What? Same thing.
I personally think so. I do. Even with the pick 6, 100%. You showed to me what the confidence of having a franchise quarterback feels like going into stadiums. You guys know I've always said that. Like, even when we were down 10 points, man, we were going to win. That's how I felt. Yesterday, for the first time as somebody had been on the sideline, I felt that about that team. I was talking to Philip Noel in the talk back on Titans Radio. I can speak back to him, and he was just like, oh, Lord, here we go. I was like, to be honest with you, it's been too much good happening today to feel like you're going to lose. And not to say that he didn't, believe in the cause, but it just felt like that game was in his hands to where he could deal. Again, the way he was slinging the ball around, the decisions that was made to run when he had to, and just the effectiveness of the offensive line. I felt like, in my opinion, that was, as a pro, as a Titan, just all in all, even with the pick 6, was probably his best showing that he's had as a pro ever.
Yeah, and that's part of it, because you can still have mistakes. And right now in his career, he's going to have some of those because he has put himself behind the clock a little bit when it came to the slow start for him this season. So now for him, we're going to nitpick things, and we should nitpick things. But for him to get a win like this when you know there is so many division games in front of you, and they spoke all week about that in the locker room, like we still have a lot to play for, at least for what we think. The outsiders can think what they want, and it's a long shot.
Because they're in a different world inside that locker room.
You're exactly right.
It's a different world for how they see it and what they talk about.
And how they're believing in themselves.
Yeah, it's a different world.
So for him to go out there and actually get that job done on the road, that to me that's a big time performance from Will Levis. And then you've got sprinkled in the explosive plays. We're starting to see more of those. I think 6 out in the last 2 games we've seen in terms of explosive plays. That makes our eyes light up again and say, oh yeah, there's the Will Levis we know. He's getting maybe comfortable with some of the other things that we can start to have Brian Callahan drum up those plays for him.
Steve Palazzolo of the 33rd team said it yesterday on Twitter. Most yards on 30-plus yard throws in the last 3 weeks. Joe Burrow, 112. Russell Wilson, 150. Will Levis leading the NFL with 241.
Oh my.
That's yards on 30-plus yard throws the last 3 weeks. Will Levis, the first player since the 1970 merger to have a 105-plus passer rating in a 3-game span in which they were sacked 20 times. I'm not willing to say it was Will Levis's best performance in a Titans jersey. However, I will say this was his most important performance.
Effective.
In a Titans uniform.
Way to put it.
Yeah. I'd say definitely. And effective, too. Like, if they were going to win that game, it was on his shoulders and legs yesterday. And to that point, and everybody also played their part. You had NWI show up. Chig, Lord.
Okonkwo. They said they've been trying to drill that up for a while.
I mean,
in terms of that even specific play for it to work.
Play down the seam like that was nuts, man. They said he only ran 20 miles per hour.
And he was mad about it.
Only 20?
Will Levis even post-game was like, I can't wait to see the GPS reading. Troy Davenport was like, it was like 20 miles per hour. He was like,
no.
He's like, oh, dang.
That's only 3 miles per hour faster than mine.
I know, right? It looked faster.
I can't.
Maybe Okonkwo is 5'1" slow instead of 5'2" slow.
No, that boy looked fast yesterday, man.
That was a heck of a play.
He needed it. Levis needed it yesterday. I mean, and it was a great showing. And of course, on top of that, Tony Pollard get another 100 yards on the season, too. He was fascinating.
Second 100-yard game of the season for Tony Pollard.
His yards after contact, he's like just a slimy little back. He'll just get away from people, Going. It's really fun to watch. And I think Brian Callahan is going to look back at this season and say, dang, this was such a good move to make. Yeah. Because he's been that good.
By the way, another guy that needed it too, I just realized, there's 6 targets and 6 catches yesterday for Tyler Boyd.
Boyd. Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Yeah, that was big for him.
They got him involved early, too.
He needed it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to Roy in Nashville. First up on the phone, 615-737-1045. Hey, Roy.
Hey, what's up? Looks like we went down to Houston and struck some oil. I tell you that, Will Levis, behind that offensive line, which I think the offensive line is starting to gel, but he went through all the 3 emotions: fight, freeze, or take off. It's like he took off when I was like, oh no, throw it, and then he made plays with his legs, and then he froze when he had opportunities to make plays. But that was on him. Some of it wasn't, but he did enough where I'm like, hey, this guy just took a major step. And, hey, there's 2 guys on this team back to this game that one of them I really believe they need to go ahead and throw a bag at him. That's NWI.
Yeah.
He stepped up. And then Chig did what we've been expecting him to do the last couple of years. But with that being said, the remaining games of the season, it's mostly divisional. I think defenses better take notice, and I think they're going to open up its playbook more. And, I think our schedule is maybe a little bit more easier than Houston is. And that last game, I'm hoping that last game, I don't know, maybe. Who knows? Tighten up, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There we go, Roy.
You never know, right? When you go on the win and win at your division rivals, then they've got to come here at the end of the year. Mm-hmm. It does make you have a little bit more hope that even at that time, the Titans could be playing some really confident football if this continues to head in the right direction.
The best thing I like about it is the amount of negativity, and you still get a dub. Mm-hmm. I don't think you know how much that does for a team. Because when you know that at the end of the day, if we fight and we just execute as much as we possibly can, and Houston got a really good team. They got a lot of studs. And from my understanding, one of the ball boys on the other side that was working the Texans sideline said that they were livid over there. Like, Danico called a players huddle like 3 separate times.
Wow.
Like, cursing guys out, like going back and forth. And, like, they were adamant about getting the best punch delivered on the Titans, and it did not work. So can you imagine, man? I mean, the plane ride wasn't anything crazy coming back. It was just guys just almost like they expected to win.
Right. And they got to feel good about themselves on the defense, too, shutting down Joe Mixon, who has been an absolute monster, who has been running with his hair on fire this season. And for them to really not let him do a lot was also a tip of the cap to the defense.
It was.
Titans were also able to put C.J. Stroud under a lot of pressure. He was pressured on 40% of his dropbacks. Stroud completed 4 of his 11 pass attempts for 45 yards and a pick when he was pressured. EPA tells you he has been awful under pressure this season. 11th lowest EPA number, which is essentially just value as an individual player this season, entering the Week 12 afternoon slate. Will Levis was the better second-year quarterback of the two that played yesterday at Houston.
He really was.
Did not expect to say that this morning.
No, and played with a lot of poise, though, too. Like, when he had big moments, he came to the sideline. Like, he was begging of his offensive line 1 or 2 times, like, just give me a little bit more. We're going to be fine. Like, you could see him. It was more coaching than actually just celebrating yesterday, man, which is, again, he mentioned the rewiring stuff. He'll never live that one down. He got to continue to show proof of concept. But as it pertains to yesterday, that's what you're looking for out of your franchise guy. And you can't even be mad at it. Yes, it's been bad. Yes, he's been in the trash dumpster. But he fought like hell yesterday.
Thank you for differentiating trash dumpster from regular dumpster.
Right.
No, straight up.
Some dumpsters
I'd love
you
to
can
see the
put other
dumpster
things
that's
in
not
there.
for trash. What's the other kind of dumpster?
I mean, clothes, Goodwill clothes.
No, we had to be specific about where he was coming out of. And there's going to be a lot of people that still feel like, and I'm one of those, like, again, is that too greedy? Just that, like,
It's very greedy.
Again, do it again. Like, I want to see that again. This thing,
proof of concept
please
is a real
take
thing.
me on a nice date.
And to
Good
repeat
players
it.
in the NFL can do that consistently.
Right. And you'd
That
like
C
to
word.
see a little less in terms of like the taking the sacks. You'd like to see
you good enough.
improvement. But if you are able to win those games still, we're not going to sit there and probably spend much time on that, But if you go back to getting a loss and 8 sacks, then you have to refrain to going backwards, which nobody wants to do. So
Honestly, you know what yesterday felt like? The 2021 Bengals game flipped. When you sacked Brian Callahan's Bengals offense and Joe Burrow 9 times, and you lost the game.
I had somebody say that yesterday. Get out of my phone, okay?
you guys sending each other messages there?
No,
Secret
that was
messages?
I was on a golf course and on a plane yesterday. We did not talk separately.
No,
offline.
we did not. No, we did not. That's the feel that yesterday had to me.
It's proof of concept. And again, it is, I think, exciting that the good for Will Levis is starting to overshadow the bad. When you go to L.A. and you score 10 points when the game is actually being played, you score 17 total, but you really scored 10 points in a competitive game in LA. You took a lot of sacks against the Chargers. That is why we came on the show saying, well, yeah, maybe a little better, but didn't really make a difference, right? Offense still struggled. How much improvement did Will Levis really make that day? This is a totally different story 2 weeks later. Because at this point now, Will Levis is making enough downfield throws and throwing enough dimes, and the laser bootleg left to Calvin Ridley on the left hash mark in the second half of this game. He's throwing bullets. He's just throwing seeds when he can actually get the ball out of his hands.
Yep.
There is good overshadowing the bad. And we talked about that with Josh Allen. It's why I did not like the Josh Allen comparison with Will Levis early in the season. Because Josh Allen would do something stupid, then do something that made you say, whoa, consistently. Will Levis now, for a second straight week, is making enough whoa throws to overshadow the oh-no sacks that he's taking.
Right now.
And the sacks are better than picks.
And that's what we didn't see at the start of the season.
No, it is not.
Because he was making some major mistakes that put this team behind in a lot of ways. But B, because we still were listening to, Callahan talk about how they wanted to changed the way that he came into the season, working on those intermediate passes, working on those little things. And we're like, well, where are the big passes? So where's Will Levis's arm? Like, we kept asking for it. And then you had the shoulder injury. So it was kind of all put on the back burner. And now we're seeing it emerge again with what we see, at least I see, as a little bit different Will Levis in terms of his mindset. And I spoke with Travis, my husband, yesterday when we were watching the game, and I said, now, CJ Stroud, this is the thing about CJ. He'll go throw an interception. He'll sit on the bench. He'll act like nothing ever happened. Like, he has a very calm demeanor to him when it comes to making mistakes. And he'll go back out there. He's not going to be scared to throw the ball deep again, right? He's going to do it. I wanted to see that out of Will Levis yesterday, of no fear, right? When you make a mistake, when you throw that pick six, okay, get back out there, erase it from your memory, move forward. And that was what he was able to do. And that kind of made me think, okay, maybe the mind thing has worked in terms of going in the right direction of not getting in his head.
Eric in Nashville is here. Next up on the phones. Hello, Eric.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys. I tell you what, before I get to the game yesterday, it just makes me think of my call last week when I called in and told you guys I don't want to give up on Will Levis because of the fact that he might go somewhere else, because I was comparing Malik Willis, and then after I got off the phone, then I started to believe Willis got slaves in the chat room and Ramon played the clip, calling me a freaking bum.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah. Hey, guys, but as far as the game goes yesterday, I'm just so happy we won yesterday. I tell you what, usually with those circumstances, you expect to lose. But we finally caught some breaks, guys, because especially, guys, remember that drive for this field goal a few series earlier, the fact that they had a touchdown pass, but it was called back because of a legal shift, because usually we don't catch that type of a break. And that, of course, helped us out. It could have changed the trajectory of the game. But the fact I was at home saying, Mr. Field Goal, but then I was saying, it's all part of making it, we're going overtime. But then when he missed it, I was going nuts. So I was so happy, guys. But, guys, one last thing that I just want to bring up, and then I'll get off. And it was, of course, early in the game, and I brought it up on the postgame show. The fact that Nico Collins had that touchdown pass, and Mike Brown was kind of afraid to make the hit because of the penalty last week. And, of course, Coach Mack and Dave McGinnis were talking about it. The announcers were talking about it. And I get it. And they were talking about the fact that didn't want to lose money and stuff like that in his career and everything. But then somebody brought up the point. This is the point I was going to bring up what had happened, and that was the winning touchdown pass. Are we feeling the same way? I'm sorry, guys. You still got to try and make the play on the ball, knock the ball away. And if you're rough, I mean, you hate about thinking about that with the NFL and the officiating has done now on that type of play. But if that had been a winning touchdown pass or something like that, we could have had a different conversation. But I'm just glad we won the ball game yesterday. Guys, y'all take care. If I don't talk to you again this week, happy Thanksgiving. Tighten up, and we'll talk again soon.
You too, Eric.
You too, Eric. Happy Thanksgiving.
Appreciate the call. Red zone is still where this team can certainly improve. That was a good example of it, maybe. But, yeah. I mean, that wasn't my biggest takeaway from the game, but sure, that's fair on Mike Brown.
I did have that. That's the first thing that ran through my mind on that play.
Okay.
Same position.
Yep.
It was. I was just like, and most times you pop him still. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was a good enough position for him to come up and try to hit him with his shoulder to knock the ball out. But that's also what the NFL does. They try to curb those types of things so that players can also put themselves in bad situations. And it curbed, for sure, Mike Brown's thought process on that hit.
Brian Callahan talked about the importance of the win yesterday, saying this to the media postgame.
Critically important. There's, again, one of the things I keep trying to have is some validation for what we do and how we do it. And that ultimately in the NFL comes in the form of wins. And we finally get a chance against a really good team on the road in the division to show what we're made of. And this is the team that I think we're capable of being. It's the team that I've believed in all year long. The way that they go about their business and the foundation and the culture of what we want our team to look like is there. We just had to make the plays to win the game, and it was really great to see that. So this is a critical stretch for all of us, just in terms of making sure that what we want our team to be and what the future of our team looks like, which for us is just week to week right now. But it validates a lot of the things that we've done so far.
There's Brian Callahan. Validating a lot of the things they have done so far, significant for the team, for the staff, and for the organization.
Yeah.
Go to their former home yesterday. 615-737-1045. We'll get to Mike and Mark on the phones. We'll tell you what Will Levis did the best out of anything yesterday when you look at some of the numbers. That's next. Hey, it's Will Bowling here from my friends at Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance, TOA, established in 1926. It is the largest and most comprehensive orthopedic practice in Tennessee. Fall sports are wrapping up, winter sports getting started at the high school level. If there's an athlete in your family that's still banged up from the fall season, or maybe you're playing for a state championship in the Blue Cross playoffs, well, then take advantage of going to see Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance, the leading experts in sports medicine and performance, and the team physicians for NFL, college, and high school athletes all across Tennessee. They provide sports medicine coverage to more high school and college sports teams than any orthopedic group in the state of Tennessee. Over 100 orthopedic physicians throughout Middle and East Tennessee to take care of all your musculoskeletal needs. These are the folks that I trust to get me back to feeling my best, rehabbing injuries, and making sure that injuries aren't happening in the future as well. TOA.com. That's where you check them out. That's Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance, online at TOA.com. RKW 104.5 The Zone. Robert Walsh. This is why we call him the best producer in the world.
Bravo. If y'all don't know, that's from Kendrick Lamar's album where he's yelling, "Mustard!"
I think yesterday there was a little bit of mustard on Meatloaf.
It was. Bird, you're going to have to run that back at some point. That was good.
I'll leave it up. I'll play it again when more people are listening.
I love it. These are the things that happen when Kendrick Lamar just drops an album.
Just,
oh, good morning. It's Friday. Here's an album for you.
What a weekend, right?
And here's another one for you.
Here's another one. and while you're there, take this with you also, okay?
Yeah, I love
Goodness.
I love
Bravo,
it.
Robert.
Yesterday, NFL Pro telling us that Will Levis on passes of 20-plus air yards, 2 of 3, 101, and a touchdown. The analytics say a 24% completion percentage over expected. And guys, the mental side of Will Levis, who just said, I just put the pick six behind me. Just kept on playing. Massive what he was able to do throwing the ball deep down the field.
Yeah, it was. And just with the accuracy and precision of it, too. And also, being sacked that many times, having the ability to stay in the pocket, that's what I was most impressed with. That's been his biggest issue is stop manipulating the pocket. Stop doing things that's hurting your offensive lineman. Heck, we know they got problems.
He did have a few of those.
He did, and they were supposed to get home.
Yeah.
The way Houston got home, they were supposed to. You chalked it up. The two dudes that ate the most yesterday, Daniil Hunter and Will Anderson Jr., right? Like
and
they were
a lot on the left side.
Yeah. And here's what I'll also say, too. There are certain type of sacks that are okay and some that are not.
Yeah,
None of them are acceptable because they take away from the offense. But those blindside shots, like, those are the ones you don't want. If you can, these days, you have to cradle them to the ground. If he ain't got to take a hard shot to the back, like, those are the ones you live with.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a couple of those yesterday. That's on his bigs up front. You got to somewhat clean it up. But I'll say this. As good as JC's been, that target was going to get bigger.
He had a day.
Yeah, he had his reset, did he not?
Certainly.
Yep, he did. We talk more about the left side of the line than the right side of the line, surprisingly, in this edition of Ramon, Kayla, and Will. But overall, though, for Will, I guess to be able to be at this point now since his return from the shoulder injury, and we're seeing that, some of these explosive plays with him, being able to be what we know and what we've always known about Will Levis. The guy has an arm, right? Like he can make big time plays. And we saw it again last night. And or yesterday, I feel like the more and more comfortable he continues to get with what just the baseline of what Brian Callahan's been teaching him since he took a hold of him as his quarterback, the more we're going to see, Will Levis, the specialty of the big long plays, because the more you're going to be able to open things up. And I think he gave credit a lot to the coaching staff yesterday too, when it came to dialing up those plays and coming up with some of those things. And they've been working on some stuff too. The Chig play, they said that's been in the works for a while. It just finally hit.
They said they focused so much on Calvin Ridley, they doubled Ridley, that there was nobody to tackle Chig.
Yeah.
Love that.
That's what happens when you remember that you've got a number one wide receiver to throw the ball to.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
You establish the connection to Ridley, that they feel like they got to take that away, and then everybody else eats.
That's more value, right?
Mike in Cleveland.
What?
Good morning, Mike.
Mike's back.
What else, though? Y'all want the horn?
Yeah.
Sure.
To win.
We got to
We
ask?
want the horn.
We got to ask now?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I wasn't going to blow it because I'm disagreeing with y'all a whole lot.
What are you disagreeing on?
I can't wait to hear
Let's hear it.
I can't wait to hear you not be thankful on a week like this week.
Let's get into it. Let's get into it. So, I'm looking at this win a little different from y'all. I'm not giving Levis all of this love. I'm giving Callahan a little bit more love. At the beginning of the season, I called in and I said he called in like he don't have a lot of confidence in Levis, or maybe he's just trying to figure out what his strength is. And I think, and we all see where his strength is that deep ball. And Callahan went out there and he went ahead and let them, sling it out there deep, early in the game. I think it fed Levis a little bit more confidence. He could get his, he could get his mojo flowing a little bit, But as far as this is where I'm disagreeing with y'all, them sacks. A few of them sacks is on Levis for holding the ball too long. The pick six, staring down the first, not going through his progression, staring down the wide receiver. I don't want another half of back half of a Titan season to go in with so much hype for such mediocre play. And then going into next season, we see another mediocre, overhyped quarterback that we just have to live with. I want the man to really get better and truly, truly be, a straight up, unargued franchise quarterback. And so, but I ain't gonna rain and poo-poo on the parade too much. I'm just gonna give it to Callahan for scheming up better. I'm gonna give it to Callahan for showing that he trusts in Levis a little bit more than he was earlier. And I hope Callahan develops a more killer instinct. When we get a pick six, go out there and let Levis sling it again. Don't just do 3 runs real quick like that. Go out there and keep trusting in him and let that man be the franchise quarterback. Take the training wheels off. And that's it. That's all I'm gonna say. And Levis do better with letting go of the ball and going through progressions. And that's it. That's all I'm going to say. Dose.
Thank you, Mike.
There it is.
I think the pushback I will give to you there, Mike, though, is that these plays have been called. Brian Callahan and Nick Holtz have told us all season, we're calling passes to go deep down the field. They're just not getting there. And I think Will Levis is doing a better job either going to his second read or diagnosing the plan pre-snap to understand when he has the opportunity to throw deep shots, because the play calls are an easy way to say things are really different. I think the play calling has not been significantly different than what it was early in the season.
The execution is
that's
there
what I was
now.
just going to say.
They are executing, I think, a very similar game plan.
I like that Mike is keeping pressure on Levis. And I think most
and he needs to.
are and will and expect to. That's what we said earlier. Like, okay, now, consistency. Will's the word, consistency. Can you do this from week to week more times than you don't? Mm-hmm. Those are the questions we got to figure out.
Let's go to Mark in the borough up next. Hey, Mark.
Good morning, RKW.
What's up?
Hey, we played a solid game, minus the interception. We played a solid game. I'm looking at offense, and guess who our number one in yards receiving was? Calvin Ridley. Yeah. That's supposed to happen. Yep. He had 93 yards. We didn't get him a touchdown, but that's supposed to happen. And then Boyd came up, next receiver other than Okonkwo. But that's supposed to happen. But then looking on defense, number one tackler, 6 tackles, 1 interception. Murray, that's supposed to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Our linebacker. But Brownlee, man, he continues to impress me. I think he should be in the running for Rookie of the Year. Because if you check the stats, I could probably bet you he has the most tackles by a rookie cornerback. And then also how he just came back from getting burned. He slammed some dude so hard, man, and then came and got the interception right after. But, yeah, that's my Rookie of the Year.
I'm not going to go that far, Mark.
On the team basis. For the team, maybe.
No, Jarvis Brownlee's not going to be Rookie of the Year.
I'll say this,
Not
though.
in the NFL.
I do.
He played well, though.
I get why he's impressed with him. I mean, this guy turns it off. He can turn it off the minute something goes wrong. And look, he's a rookie. He's going to learn. He's going to make mistakes, but they're allowing him to do that. They're also allowing him to be the aggressive player he is in Denard Wilson's system. They encourage it. They don't encourage penalties. It's not like they're going out there and saying, hey, go get this penalty. But that's part of his game. And just like we say, quarterbacks will throw interceptions, and if they can even it out with just better, making plays in the meantime, you'll accept that. And I feel like Jarvis Brownlee Jr. is going to be that type of player. Well, he'll get those penalties sometimes of those aggressive plays, but then he's going to make it up.
He's got 7 in the last 4 weeks.
Yeah, he's a dog.
DPIs. Like, no,
he's
what
a definition
you're getting
of
now
that.
is reps to make him a better second-year pro.
Coming up, hour number 2, more of our reaction, 615-737-1045. And the McNair family talked, and they took an L. We'll talk about that coming up next.
Hey, it's Kayla Anderson for We Grow Hair, and I've taken you along the hair growth journey. My goodness, we're already almost at the new year, and I feel like I definitely have a new, not like full set of hair, because I didn't need that, but all of the hair around my temples that I had told you about, that I was seeing on our virtual stream that was driving me nuts. It's all grown back, and it is really amazing when I put my hair back. I can tell, and that's because they have helped me out at We Grow Hair. They make everybody better when it comes to the hair growth journey. They have their PRP plate rich plasma treatments. It's really good for in terms of the injection. You can see growth in really 2 months. And then their FDA approved laser therapy has been the best for my hair growth journey. You just go in, it's 30 minutes and you're out the door. And then they have their trademark hair transplant procedure. It's going to give you 3 times more hair in one procedure if you want to go that route. All you got to do is hop in and they will put you on the right journey for yourself. You got to go to wegrowhair.com, schedule free evaluations today, and get your hair growth journey on its right track. 615-376-6010. That's 615-376-6010, or go to wegrowhair.com.
What's going on? 7:01. Good morning. Happy Victory Monday from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I am Robert Walsh. Titans get the win over the Texans at NRG Stadium, 32-27. A game of first for for Tennessee, as it was Will Levis's first AFC South win as the Titans quarterback. He finished 18 of 24, 278 for 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. Also sacked 8 times. It was also Devondre Sweat's first career sack. Then set up a Titans safety, and then Jarvis Brownlee snagged his first career interception. Here was the call from Titans Radio.
Quick throw, intercepted Brownlee. He did throw it right to him. Brownlee tackled at the 20, and Brownlee has his first career INT.
Texans fall to 7-5, while the Titans improved to 3-8. And even with the win, the Titans currently have the 6th overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. Sunday Night Football, you got to see a lot of grown men give up as the Eagles and Saquon Barkley ran wild over the Rams and take it 37-20. Saquon finishing with over 300 total yards, 255 on the ground, both of which are a single-game Eagles franchise record, including 2 70-yard touchdown runs. With the win, the Eagles moved to 9-2 and remain 1 game behind the Lions for the number 1 seed in the NFC. You got Monday Night Football tonight. Ravens at SoFi to take on the Chargers. Kickoff is at 7:15. For all your foundation repair and your waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Hour number 2 and 7 a.m. on an RKW Reaction Monday. Getting started on today's Victory Monday. 615-737-1045 is our number. Coming up, if you are in the camp that is remotely upset about yesterday's win, we've got words for you. We'll give you those words. We'll say them in 15 minutes. Just turn up that radio a couple more notches, or your smart device, your Alexa. 104.5 The Zone TV and the 104.5 The Zone app means you take us wherever you go. And of course, that us is Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, Robert Walsh, and myself, Will Bowling. You get into the F&M Bank chat, hit the comment section on YouTube, and chat with a very lively and very happy group of Titans fans this morning.
Glad for them. Happy for them.
Fired
Whatever
up.
word I want to use that's positive, that's for you on this Thanksgiving week, Titans fans.
Kayla.
Yes.
So the Houston Texans and their owner, or part owner, in the family, Hannah McNair, started to talk a little bit last week. The Texans, of course, tried to have their quote-unquote H-Town blue color in rebranded new uniforms under NFL rules. As, of course, the Adams family, the ones who actually are the Oilers franchise. Amy Adams Trunk, but Adams' daughter, of course, insisted on enforcing the Titans' intellectual property and copyright rights. But there are still some hints of the Love Ya Blue era. A little bit of light blue. Hannah McNair said last week to Fire Station 33 in Houston, "We've taken over Houston. We've taken our fans back. So they are just the Titans now." Well, you also took an L this weekend, Hannah, and none of that history will ever belong to you. You are still nothing in NFL history, and you certainly do not have our NFL history. We'll be very happy to polish off those beautiful Love You Blue helmets that you have no rights to in a couple weeks when you come here and the Titans go for the sweep.
I mean,
Mrs. McNair.
I personally would love to see Hannah McNair and Amy Adams Strunk in the ring. That is personally what I would like to see.
Next level.
Celebrity
fight. Yeah, what was that? Punch out or what? Knockout or whatever it was. It's funny because Hannah McNair clearly being
Celebrity death match is what it was.
There it is. Was it like the clay figures too that they would? Yeah. Bring it back for this special edition.
With Mills Lane, the referee.
The referee. It's if you haven't seen it, look it up. It's really funny. It's old school.
Celebrity death match.
You could picture it better maybe if you looked at it. But yeah.
Mills Lane passed away.
Harry McNair. Hannah McNair clearly has been vocal about trying to pump their team up and try to connect it with some sort of Oilers history, which again is not their history. They've done this with the new uniforms this year. There is a lot more blue incorporated. Now, whether or not that's, the love you blue or not, it's definitely being incorporated more. So I know they keep pushing this. It's never going to be theirs, though. And Amy Adams-Strunk, I think, had to feel so good after this win. I know she got the game ball, but just knowing kind of what they're trying to do down here to shove it in their face, especially after the Titans wore the uniforms last year and got the loss, this has got to be a real, you to Hannah McNair and family.
Big old screw you is what it was.
There you go.
Absolutely. They're doing a lot of stuff to try to create their own culture. They got the Bulls with the horns, the Toro stuff going on down there. But you do see they're calling it Houston Blue. It's Oilers
H-Town Blue.
Yeah, that's what it is. H-Town Blue is what it is. And they got this graffiti H that they're putting up there in the end zone. They're trying to do a lot of things, but you can tell that, I love when rich people hate. I love when they beef. It's the most pettiest, just simplest ways of just being petty that you could possibly be. We got two owners pretty much just going at it and trying to make claims on certain history and just looks. When rich people beef, there's nothing better than that. If I'm not mistaken, the Titans had a good group of folks went down to Houston this past weekend. Yeah, you said there was a good, big group.
Yeah, I think a lot of them live there.
Yeah, it was.
There's still a lot of Titans fans that live in Houston. Yeah. They have not taken their city back.
This meant something.
In any stretch of the imagination.
No, it was good.
And you know what? You talk about building a culture. You know what the Texans' culture is?
Well, talk to me.
Losing. You have done nothing significant in your franchise's history, and you don't get to claim ours. You got about 20 years of franchise history, and all of it has been L's just like you took yesterday, Houston.
See, and this is why you also don't want too much of ownership talking in public. Right now, Houston, Texas got a problem with
she talks a lot, too.
Between Jerry and now also Miss Hannah McNair, too. I mean, legitimately, you're writing checks that your teams can't cash for the most part. You don't have to play.
She is the wife of owner Cal McNair.
Yeah. I ain't talk your stuff. I get it, but just know
it. Then when you don't back it up, just honestly, what happened to the Titans last year with the unis, right? There's a little bit of backlash.
Yeah, but Amy Adams-Strunk never talked about it publicly. She never threw any shade.
I understand.
The way Hannah McNair has to.
But when you don't win in those, there was a lot of backlash, and so you have to see that coming at some point too. But they could win in them this year.
Yeah.
Brian Callahan was asked about what the win means to Amy Adams-Strunk yesterday postgame.
She was thrilled. She was thrilled mainly because we won the game. But yeah, it's okay to admit that these things sometimes mean more. And I know it does for her and it does for us. And we wanted to make sure that we put on a great performance down here and we had a chance to win the game, and we did. And I think that she's more than anything else just proud of our football team and the way that they came down here and fought and played.
Anyone who knows the history of this franchise can understand that losses to Houston have always meant more. Ask Ken Wisenhunt about how much his loss in Houston, and ask Will Svitek about what that game meant for that era of Titans football. On the flip side, wins over Houston mean more than wins over probably anyone else in the National Football League because of what it means to the Adams family and to Amy. And Brian Callahan did a lot to earn himself a lot of good graces yesterday by leading that team. And Will Levis, you could say the same thing, by figuring out a way and finding a way to beat Houston in their city.
It was. And here's the thing I'll say, too, about the change in leadership that's happened inside the building as far as the coaches and the personalities go. This is where that kumbaya crap plays off for you a little bit more. The happiness that he brought into the building and how, hey, it's fun to be at work. Those conversations we heard back in the spring and stuff like that is because when it gets all bad, and it was probably destined to be bad because of how Will Levis played the early parts of the season, you got a coach that's found a way to keep his guys motivated, engaged, and ready to compete. And that's one thing that I will give Coach Callahan, the passion that you saw when he was, what the heck are you doing to Will Levis that got caught on TV, and him going the heck off last weekend inside the stadium against Minnesota. You see a coach that's fighting for his squad, and that team is also fighting for him. The reaction after Will Levis threw the pick six from the defense, there wasn't one from them. Wow. And I was impressed by that. And again, I don't know what they were thinking internally, but there wasn't any kicking pellets because it's an indoor stadium. There was no kicking pellets. There was no god dang type of moments.
Panic.
Sure.
There was no panic. They just simply walked out there and was just ready to go. And that's why I got to give credit on the surface level to what I feel like Coach Brian Callahan has continued to push. And those, as I said again, kumbaya moments of we are better than we are. For 1 week last week, it showed up.
Yeah, and he has handled it well, and we've brought up on this show, that's what sometimes being your true self, authentic self from start to finish will get you, and that's all he's ever been. He has been transparent as hell. I've never had a coach that I've covered at a professional level who tells us that much on a Wednesday presser straight out of the gates on who's going to be practicing, who's not, who's out. Like, he really is truly that, and I think that's why I get why the players probably respect the hell out of him too.
Coming up next, if you were unhappy the Titans won yesterday, or if you want to know how significant a third win of the season when you're well under 500 can be, we'll tell you coming up next. Hey, it's football. You know I love talking about my friends at Lee Company. Open 24/7, 365. You know as well as I do that the only thing predictable about the weather is that it is unpredictable. And make sure your home is ready for the next storm or heat wave, because, you know, we still get those from time to time in November and December as well with the Lee Company home maintenance plan. It is literally the best way to stay ahead of Mother Nature. Sign up today, and for $12 a month, their expert technicians will come out 4 times a year to take care of your air conditioning, heating, plumbing, and electrical systems. That's right. That's air conditioning, heating, plumbing, and electrical by one professional team. Learn more at leecompany.com or give them a call at 615-567-1000. That's leecompany.com. The phone number is 615-567-1000. $12 a month gets you 4 visits a year from the Lee Company team of experts in business for over 80 years. 615-567-1000, online at leecompany.com. That's Lee Company, all you need. RKW, Ramon, Kayla, and Will continues on Victory Monday. CJ Stroud went full Orlovsky. You never want to go full Orlovsky. No. When your team is backed up in their own end zone. 615-737-1045 is our number on Reaction Monday. And guys, I know these people are out there. I've seen them on social media. I see them in the streets where we live. The people who are probably not happy that the Tennessee Titans won yesterday. 32-27 of the Houston Texans. The Titans are 3-8. A lot of people would rather lose than win right now. What is your message to that group of the fan base this morning?
So you want another culture of losing? There's no guarantee that you're going to win in this league. So every opportunity you get, you take them. That's such a loser. That's such a loser's mentality to root against your own interests at this point when you have an opportunity. I know that's a long friggin' headline, Will, but my message to them is this ain't the plan. You compete to win.
Mm-hmm. These are grown men making a living. They go to work every day. Do you go to work to fail? I don't go to work to fail. Yeah, There's going to be bad days I have sometimes, but then I hop back in the saddle and say it's a new day, figuring out a way to win the day, right? And I know that sounds cheesy, but this is what these guys are doing, but they're also putting their bodies on the line every day. They're being hit. They're, undergoing concussions, ACL tears, whatever it might be. So if you don't think they're going out there to win, then you're probably not a true fan. And you can get mad and you can be frustrated. I'm not telling you how to fan that part, but these guys are going out there to win games. And I will say this too. To think that these guys are tanking or Brian Callahan would allow would be a really bad base to build for this team moving forward, because this team right now has a lot of young players who are contributing. You saw a lot of firsts yesterday in this game by some rookies, by some younger players. They have gone through a lot of adversity and losses this year, and that will build them up to be better players, but they've also got to learn how to win. And so if you don't have these moments, you're not going to build that real good base of young players that are going to be able to win a lot more games in the future. And that's truly what I believe they're doing here.
You mentioned earlier, Ramon, about you don't know what it does for a locker room to make the mistakes the Titans did yesterday and still win.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
Here's what I mean by that is we've been trying to figure out for this team over the last 2 years. 2 years, especially this year minus Derek. Derek, to me, was a pathway to win football games, right? Let's hand the ball to 22 and something good is going to happen. He got over 20 reps in the game, you're probably going to win a football game. It's how it's been. This year in particular, man, that locker room has been beaten down, downtrodden, and in a bunch of one-loss losses, right? Having a lot of negativity yesterday and figuring out how to win football games, what I mean by that is this, Will. When it comes down to us versus you and us figuring out how to persevere through games and knowing that if I simply do my job as what the coach has been telling me, then we'll win more football games. That's what happened yesterday. The negativity of the sacks, the turnovers, the bad plays, the scoring, the beginning of the game, like you're never out of it. I used to say when we walked in the stadiums, I felt like we were going to win. Mm-hmm. And that sounds cheesy to say more than anything as a player, but the belief that all things poured into the game plan that week, the belief in your coaches that, hey, they're not lying to us, the belief that, look, I'm good enough and belong in this league, no matter the circumstances, we win football games. That's what I mean. A lot of this stuff ain't just, just dust, pixie dust, right? It really is the belief in the system. And that's where we've all seen Coach Belichick do this. Right? We've seen Mike Tomlin do these types of things. Harbaugh, Andy Reid. You hear guys speak about the coaches and the culture, right? Well, that's what I've always lived in my NFL career is the culture of winning. And in bad moments, you're never out of games. That's where guys who are weak-minded, they put their hand in the pile more often and contribute. It changes the narratives on what you are as a player, and it drives everybody to the finish line, Will. That's what that moment yesterday did. I was glad the 8 sacks happened and you found a way to win. I'm glad the pick 6 happened too. I'm more likely not rather it happen. But it shows you that you're never out. And I feel like I've seen this team throughout the course of covering them over the last 2 years. I know when they're about to lose. I knew in Detroit, this is about to get bad. Or the Colts game when 1 or 2 penalties happened and you looked and it's like, yep, this is about to get bad.
It's going to unravel. Right.
I didn't get this yesterday. And I don't think it was motivation of it being Houston. I honestly don't think the players care that much. Like I say, I think
that it's Houston? Like,
no.
What do they not care about?
As far as like the ownership, the colors, and stuff
I didn't.
like that.
Yeah, I didn't get that
I don't think
either.
the players care. What they care about is figuring out what game plan is going to help them win. And as bad as NPF, Nicholas Petit-Frere has been, he had a day of positivity, minus the 8 sacks.
He
It's
did.
At least
Even
something
Levis shouted him out.
You can coach off of this now. You can't coach losing. That's the thing about it. You cannot coach losing to be like, hey, if we continue. No, coach, I ain't been successful at that. That's what I mean by yesterday was probably the best outfit that you could have happen for a team like this yesterday.
And I saw someone say, they got lucky. Look, when it comes to the NFL, on any given Sunday, there's been so much that has happened this season. And yesterday we saw it, right? Just like in college football. And you could say on any given day, a team's lucky when they maybe upset a team. I don't look at it that way at all. That's not how the players look at it either. Yes, does the ball bounce your way sometimes? Sure.
It's bounced the other way, Tom.
It's bounced the other way a lot of times. So if they can take luck for this game and build on it, and make themselves a better team and make themselves a more confident team to win games that don't necessarily go their way, I'll take that any day.
I think it's interesting, the comment on YouTube that says, I'm not rooting for them to lose, but I'm rooting for a good pick to be able to get that game-changing franchise player. Well, the Houston Texans won a meaningless game late in their season a couple of years ago, and because of it, got to pick C.J. Stroud instead of Bryce Young. You think C.J. Stroud isn't a game-changing player? Look at what the Detroit Lions did in year 2 of the Dan Campbell era. In 2022, they started 1-6. They ended up going on a run. They finished 9-8. They brought in a bunch of franchise-changing players. Franchise-changing players don't just come in the first 5 picks of the NFL draft, not just in the first 2 or 3 picks of the NFL draft. You think J.C. Latham isn't a potential franchise-changing player right now? You picked him with the 7th overall pick. Well, right now you're slotted to pick 6th. Let the chips fall where they may and figure it out at the end of the season. That is a loser mentality that you think so low of the players on your team to believe that they are incapable of getting better. That is what you are saying. If you think you want this team to lose and you want all these new draft picks, you think the players you have are incapable of improving. Oh, forget about these guys. Let's get some new ones. I want to pick 1. I want to pick 33. 66? That's all I care about. Just get a new team in here. No, that's loser talk. If you are rooting for your team to lose, you don't realize what you're actually asking for. You're asking for players you need to be good to get worse. Why did you win yesterday? Jarvis Brownlee had his first career pick. Tavondre Sweat had his first career sack. J.C. Latham figured out a way to be successful despite having a pretty bad day at the office against Daniil Hunter. You had Will Levis making major improvements. You had Tony Pollard figuring things out. All this means that your GM and your front office might be more competent than what you already thought originally.
Go to hell off,
Maybe
Will.
they actually know what they're doing, even though many of you have given up on them already.
Hell yeah, Will.
That is a good thing. You want your front office and your coach to know what they're doing because maybe they can take players that you draft 10th and make them look like top 5 talents. So maybe instead of wanting a top 5 pick, you want a coaching staff and a front office that can take the resources they're given and make a good NFL football team.
I'm done.
That's
My
all I
headfest is coming out. Hey, y'all, I appreciate y'all being here. Will,
I'm tired of the loser talk.
absolutely
All right,
killed
I'm
that,
out
my
too.
brother.
Tired
Like, hey,
of
we gone.
the
See ya.
loser talk.
There's no need for us to do this show no more. We're dog.
4-day weekend,
Go
baby.
the hell off, Will. They needed to hear that, man. What the hell? Bert, you should have had a drop ready for him right there, man. What the? Dog. Yeah. Appreciate y'all being here, man. To you negative Nancy's out there, man. Will Bolin just called you out, and I'm here and back him up because that's my guy. Bolin 2024, baby. Let's go.
We're going to have to wait till 2028,
boy.
but we'll take it.
Woo! Kayla, it's on you now. I ain't got nothing.
615-737-1045.
My piece, man.
The boy spoke, man. Hear him out. I mean, that's essentially what it is, though. Like, legitimately, like you have a proof of concept. Like, I'm sure Tampa thought they had a Jim and Jameis, and I love him, but he didn't last. The Titans thought they had a Jim and Marcus Mariota, right? It didn't last. Picking top 5, you had one, Corey Davis. How you feel about that? Like, trust. the front office because everything that they've dealt you in the last couple of years has paid off. Chig finally, well, that's not his pick, right? But looking at Jarvis Brownlee yesterday,
sure.
Looking at Tajay when he's healthy, right? Like those picks have shown up and have shown out for the most part. I mean, there's not much more you can really say about that other than let us build this thing up. Again, the stuff that you've seen from JC after making the change to putting Peter at left guard, you're seeing that right now. I think with Cushenberry this offseason too, he was starting to catch his wave before it dropped out. Like the foundational pieces are happening. And for a team to be built, it does have to be a lot of silence and a lot of hits, and they've had those in the last couple of years. Say what you want to about them. Also, yesterday, too, Cedric Gray got busy on kickoff coverage, too.
Yeah, like he didn't get busier on the opening kickoff.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's that part of it, too.
He needs to get reps.
He just needs to play.
But what you're seeing is contributions from everybody that don't have an injury.
Right.
Right. I mean, that's the thing that I, said is these young guys being able to learn how to fight through adversity and then know how to win games. That's your future. And we say all the time, oh, this franchise has built it this way or this franchise has built it this way. I'm sure that you look at other franchises and want to compare, but I think what they're doing right now, they're on the right track. And to say that they just want to throw that away to get a first, second round pick is ludicrous. And by the way, whoever guarantees they're going to get a quarterback anyway. So
they're probably not.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's not even guaranteed that they even liked any of the quarterbacks in this draft. We don't know that. We haven't been in conversation with them about that yet. So I think a lot of people may be excited to just move on to the next thing. That's not always, like you said, the answer, especially how crazy quarterbacks in particular can be hit and miss. You just never know.
If you want to tank and have a fun number one overall pick, Microsoft and Sony make great gaming systems. They are called PlayStations. They are called Xboxes. You could probably even get one of those VR sets. Yeah. Make yourself the quarterback. Just throw it to the other team. You'll get all the shiny toys you want to play with.
Hey, well, the comments in the chat, man, is freaking hilarious. Josh Maxwell said, I need a cigarette after that. Somebody said, DeMario said, somebody whacked out Will's Merrill. Go off, man. Don't talk about my dog. Like, hey, man, I don't even smoke. I need a cig after that.
Let's go to Marcus in Nashville. Loaded Lions talking Titans this morning. What's up, Marcus?
Give it up for them Titans.
That's right.
Hey, y'all know I done prayed. I done threw holy water. I done talked about the EpiPens. And they grown. That's what we got the EpiPen with. I'm just saying that I am happy as a Titans fan. Yeah. All it takes is just people keep on perseverance, man. Never give up. You can win every game. We have the talent. We just don't. Sometimes we get a couple sacks here and there, but you can if you can play your defense, you got defense that can make up for that. Never give up. That game yesterday was a never give up game, and I'm just happy to be a Titans fan today. So all I gotta say is, I believe in miracles, you sexy thing. Yeah. Woo! Tighten up, baby.
Love that.
Thank you, Marcus. Believe in miracles.
Bring it to old school there.
We have had a renaissance of callers these last few weeks, and Marcus might be the Sistine Chapel of callers. Every time he calls in, I'm like, I don't care what you want to say. You can say it. I don't care. Yeah, doesn't bother me one bit.
We trust him enough that we ain't got to have a dump button on, but like, he just go off. Go off, baby.
We've had some really good calls the last few weeks. I'll say that.
Y'all.
Really good.
615-737-1045 if you want to jump in. A hopeful Titans fan says on Twitter, I don't get the concept of wanting to lose at all. Of course, everyone would love a high draft pick, but there's never a guarantee that pick hits. The only thing you're guaranteeing with a tank is intentionally building a losing culture. Yeah. W for hopeful Titans.
And to be real with you real quick, too, I mean, the Colts did it. What was it? Suck for luck, whatever that was for them.
Peyton Manning got hurt for luck.
But what is the payoff, though, too? You got, 6 years out of him and no championship still.
That wasn't really, I don't think that's the best example of a tank, because Peyton Manning just got hurt.
You just never know how it's going to work out still.
No, of course not.
So that's the point to be made. Find, good quality, players. It's on Rand, it's on Chad, it's on the front office, Anthony Robinson, to go get you a team and know the types of players that you want to.
Dave is in St. Louis, up next with us this morning. Hey, Dave.
Hey, guys. How are you?
Good morning.
Doing well. Hey, just wanted to be a little bit of a devil's advocate here as far as I get what you guys were just saying, but I want to say for those of us that are in, and you've moved my needle as far as thinking through it, because I've been one that have been saying this is a huge preseason. We're shooting for next year. Players are going to be different. The locker room's going to be, not the same. Yeah, we could swing and miss on drafts, but it's a big preseason. But, the people that feel the way I do, we're no less fans. Absolutely love the team. I was at the Super Bowl in Atlanta. I've been, dreaming about a Super Bowl forever. So, just kind of felt shamed this morning with what you guys are saying. I just thought you might want to balance it out just a bit.
I appreciate that. I like that.
So Dave, just real quick, if you're still on the line. Yeah. So in terms of being shamed, like just in terms of us saying maybe, you don't have the right to say it. And I try to be careful with that with, hey, you're a fan, you can believe what you want. But is that what you mean is in terms of shame? I just want to have you define that more.
When you guys go to commercial break, if you just rewind 7 minutes and listen to what you said, I think you'd get what I'm saying.
Thank you, Dave. Listen, if you cheer for your team to lose, there's just no argument for that.
I mean, Will, you are a fan of this team.
Yeah, I have been my whole life.
You grew up in this town.
Absolutely.
And everybody has their own opinions, but I tend just to agree with that. I don't want to tank if I'm a fan of my teams. I don't want my teams to
Nobody should.
to tank.
No.
But I understand if you get anxious or excited because you think, oh, maybe this is our year that we do have the number 1 or number 2 pick. You can feel whatever you want about that. That's fine. But it is kind of hard to think, though, that you're not excited or you're still on that tankathon when you see your team improving.
Yeah, I want you to feel a little bit of shame if you want the team to lose.
I understand.
I'm not going to apologize for that. I respect the call, Dave. Appreciate you calling in, but you should feel a little bit of shame. You're cheering against your team.
Yeah.
It's not how this works. I know you can make the argument, I want the long-term success. Yeah, if you want long-term success, you want your young players who are already on the team to get better. That's the thing. You can only turn over so much of a roster every single year. So if your idea is we'll just get new players in. All right, well, then next year we're going to be having the same conversation. Well, hey, these guys, they turned over so much of the roster. There are growing pains, right? How many times have we said that this year?
Right.
Oh, they turned over so much this roster. It's going to take time. We're just going to keep doing that forever if you try to lose, when you just bring in a new team every single year. So, yeah, I want you to feel a little bit of shame if you feel like that's a legitimate argument. Absolutely, I do. I'm not apologizing for that.
And you shouldn't. And to your point about, this team isn't built for a tank, in my opinion.
No.
I think the tanks happen when you mention, a Peyton Manning, right? And he's out for
somebody
the year.
Gets hurt.
You're able to get a high draft pick. This team has so many different moving parts and outside parts, too, that getting a new guy to come in and be, accustomed to losing, or you have J.C. Latham that's bro, it'll be like this every year. Mm-hmm. That's what you're setting yourself up for. I get the idea of, draft capital and et cetera, but this is what your front office was hired for. Those collaborations, those relationships, the ability to pick guys that are going to come in and be splash plays, and you've done that.
I will not chill out. I will not take a deep breath. I'm leaning in. 615-737-1045. Wide open phone lines for you to jump in. Would love to hear your thoughts on Titans and Texans, on the word tanking, wherever you want to take it. Talking Titans. We'll get to that next.
With Nashville booming, it can be tough to find a local agent that you trust who comes in with a proven track record. That's why you need to check out my friend Bernie Gallerani and the Bernie Gallerani real estate team. My friend Bernie Gallerani has years of experience and he will not let you down. In fact, he guarantees to sell your home in 30 days or less, or heck, he'll just buy it from you. Thanks to the Bernie Gallerani real estate team, Cindy found her perfect home. She says they understood exactly what she needed and even advised against making an offer on a higher priced home that wasn't the right fit. They explored every corner of each property. Their agent's expert eye for potential renovations helped her find the perfect home. Bernie is not only the real estate agent in Nashville recommended by Barbara Corcoran of Shark Tank, he's the only agent I would trust to sell my home. So give Bernie a call on his cell phone at 615-428-2644. That's 615-428-2644, or go to BernieGallerani.com.
RKW 104.5 The Zone, wrapping up the first half of the show with loaded phone lines on Twitter at Ramon Kayla Will. Justo tweets us and says, wanting the Titans to lose isn't what y'all are making it out to be. Fans have seen what 7-9, 8-8 gets you in the draft. It ain't enough to beat Mahomes. Best case scenario is it gets you the 2019 Titans. I'm in the camp of wanting them to play great, but not upset if we lose. Here's the thing, Justo. On the quarterback you just mentioned, Patrick Mahomes, you know what pick Kansas City had when they drafted Mahomes?
What pick?
Pick number 27.
Jeez.
And they still went up and got their guy with the 10th pick. They mortgaged everything to do it, but that is actually the perfect example of why tanking is stupid. If you really feel like you got your guy that's a franchise changer, you'll go get him. You'll figure it out. It doesn't always work, but you'll do the best you can to go get him. So Mahomes is actually a pretty good example of why tanking is stupid. Play to win the games, then figure out the rest, let the chips fall where they may.
Can I give you this 22 draft real quick? I know we loaded real quick, but this from 10 all the way out up into trailing almost, okay? At 10, you got Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Jamison Williams, Jordan Davis, Kyle Hamilton, Kenyon Green, Jahan Dotson, Zion Johnson, and then trailing. All right, if you're picking from 10 to like 15, there's still quality there. Kyle Hamilton is an all-pro. Jordan Davis is a stud himself. Jamison Williams, whenever he's good and on the field, he's good. Also, Chris Olave. What I'm saying is, from 10s on out, there are players. You just got to know which ones fit your team.
To the phones, Jared is in Mount Juliet. Hey, Jared.
How's it going, guys?
Good morning.
So let me just add to that what you guys just said. The teams that have consistently picked the highest over the past 10 to 20 years in the draft, just on average, the Jaguars, the Browns, the Raiders, the Jets. Teams that have consistently picked the lowest, the Patriots, when they were in their heyday, the Chiefs, the Packers, the Ravens. So do you see a correlation between high draft picks and winning? Because I don't. If anything, it's the opposites. So I don't understand that. I called in last week after the Vikings game, and I said I walked away feeling very encouraged just at how we played and competed. I know we lost, but I just felt like something was different. I know it wasn't perfect yesterday, but to watch this team go in and play their ass off with a 2-8 record against the division leader on the road tells me, and come away with a win, tells me exactly what I want to know about this team and this staff and where we are headed. So, again, I'll say it, the people that are wanting to tank likely aren't the ones that are going to the games and fighting the traffic, the parking situation. I'm as excited about this team as I've been in a long time, and I really wouldn't be surprised if we don't win 3, 4, 5 games down the stretch. I really am. I think we're headed in the right direction, and I think that, like Ramon just said, there's a lot of value whether we pick 8th, 14th, whatever. So keep it going. I'm really excited about Callahan. Really happy that he's starting to see some success, and I wouldn't be surprised if we don't go to Washington and win, and then do really, really well down the stretch. Really excited for this team, and just stoked about the way we played yesterday.
Appreciate
so I'll
that.
hang up and listen.
Thank you, Jared. Appreciate the call.
That's the point.
You're kind of getting Washington at a little bit of a vulnerable time, too.
Will called him out on that one. I ain't believe
the
that.
offense.
Yep. I did. That's three
Might not be
L's in a
smoking
row,
right now.
Kayla. Yeah, you're right.
Another Cliff Kingsbury offense that has hit a wall, and it will hit your defense this weekend.
I feel like we as a group has also said this, though. Before we go to Kumbaya on this, we need more.
Yeah.
Do it again. Do it again.
Levis has got to keep putting it together.
Never said yet that Will Levis is definitely the future. That you got at least the rest of the year to try to continue to prove that.
Yep.
Tristan is in Brentwood. Up next. Hey, Tristan.
Thank you for taking my call. I love the Titans win. That was incredible. And Jarvis Brownlee Jr., man, that guy, drafting him in the 5th round was a tremendous pick. Do you think we'll release one of the corners we signed this off season just to save us capital? And top players, I don't think we should get any of the quarterbacks or the top picks, but just keep on winning. We may lose some, but I don't think we'll get to the playoffs this year. But that was an incredible win.
Thank you, Tristan. Appreciate the call. L'Jarius Sneed will be here moving forward.
Yeah.
He got paid a lot of money. Chidobe Awuzie would have a dead cap charge of $12.5 million. If you got rid of him after this season, you wouldn't really save a whole lot of money by getting rid of him. So I would imagine you're just going to keep the depth that you have. And again, it matters what Awuzie does when he gets back healthy and plays again. So we don't have the information we need to make that determination yet.
Right. And look, Awuzie has not been on the field much, and I feel like Jarvis Brownlee has been proving himself game after game that even next year you keep all of them. Like you said, you have the depth and have them battle it out for those starting spots in terms of Awuzie and Jarvis.
Tyler is in Smyrna. What's up, Tyler?
Hey, good morning, y'all.
Morning.
Just a couple of things about rooting for us to lose, that kind of stuff. I believe the guy's name was Dave earlier, but if anybody's feeling guilt or shame about wanting us to lose, then that's probably a pretty good indicator of, like, you need to take an internal look. So just one thing there. Another thing, the draft is such a crapshoot, especially for us as the Titans. I don't understand or get the thought process of wanting to pick sooner, because you just that does not guarantee anything. You guys have said that before. I think everybody else has said that before. Picking 1 or 2 spots earlier or 3 spots earlier does not guarantee you anything. And then the last thing that makes me feel like this is so far from reality, to think that if we lose, like, things will be better. Do we seriously think that coaches and players can be told and tell each other hey, guys, let's pump the brakes, right? Let's not try as hard. And then, we'll get some good draft picks, and then next year we can really hit the gas. Like, that's, even when you say that out loud, like, that's not real life. Like, it just doesn't work that way. So it's just funny to me to hear people. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
It's a great call, Tyler. I totally agree.
Being in the locker room, I've never heard that conversation be had. Because what's crazy about that is it'll probably be somebody drafted at your position.
Right. That's how you lose your job.
Exactly.
Is by trying to lose.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at some of the top 10 picks the Titans have made in the last 15 years. They got the 8th pick. They took a quarterback in 2011 by the name of Jake Locker. In 2012, Kendall Wright, 20th overall. He's fine. I mean, another top 10 pick, Chance Warmack, got a top 10 offensive lineman pick. Chance Warmack was horrible.
On second contract. None of those dudes are second contracts here.
Not here.
Not a lot of them ever were.
Nope.
Who's after that?
Nope.
You gonna go?
After that, Taylor Lewan, 11th pick.
Okay, he got a second.
Worked out. Absolutely was a great pick for this organization.
Yep.
After that, Marcus Mariota.
No second contract.
You make the trade for the number 1 overall pick in 2016. You bring in Jack Conklin. That was good.
No
but
second contract.
The first pick of the second round for you was Kevin Dodd.
No second contract.
Who was Vic Beasley
So
not showing
bad.
up before Vic Beasley. If it wasn't for Isaiah Wilson, we'd still talk about Kevin Dodd as one of the worst Titans picks of all time.
They still bring that name up. Oof.
Mike is in White House. Up next. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, guys. Good morning. Appreciate y'all.
Morning.
I just want to say to all them people out there, like, that's talking about tanking and stuff, with all due respect, man, that's just a loser's mentality, man. Like, the NFL ain't about losing. Like, I don't want to tank anything. Matter of fact, I want to take. I want to snatch every hope and dream from the Texans. Mike. I want to take all of their playoff hopes, and I want to break them over Jeffrey Simmons. And
you getting gritty, Mike.
I want to go into the draft with the mentality, you know what? We're at pick 16. Guess what? If we want pick 2, we're going to go take it.
Come on,
We're going to go in there. We're going to go in there and get ours. If we want our guy, we're going to go in there and take him, and it don't matter what it is. Titans are going to win. If you look at Dan Campbell, when he started, dude didn't even win a game in his first season until week 13.
Yeah.
And the next season after that, they didn't win a game through half the season, and then all of a sudden they start winning. Like, you got to give things time. Will Levis, obviously, he's a question mark. Give the man time. I don't see a quarterback in this draft that I want, personally.
Right.
I wouldn't take any of these guys. Give me the best available and go in there and take everything. Take the wins and take everybody in the draft. And I appreciate all y'all. I love y'all show.
Mike in White House. Bringing it.
Let it
Take,
go, Mike.
not tank.
Love it.
Take, not tank.
After the Lions had their winning streak in 2022, they went out in their first 3 picks in 23. Jahmyr Gibbs, Jack Campbell, Sam Laporta.
Nice.
They went for it tight.
It's decent.
You remember how people looked at them sideways for going to get Jahmyr Gibbs? You remember that one? It's like, I don't know if he's going to work in the NFL. He works for us. Like that's what you're looking for in the draft. Not, the highest prospect. I love that idea and that concept. Lord knows I do. But what works for you and your team? Jahmyr Gibbs worked. We saw that go 75 yards.
Mm-hmm.
615-737-1045. A lively opening 2 hours on this Victory Monday. More of your phone calls. A look around the chaos of college football, which was just unbelievable and unbelievably good for Tennessee on Saturday. Plus Austin Price at 8:20. Much more still to come on Monday's RKW.
What's going on? 801, good morning. From the 104.5 The Zone Studios, I am Robert Walsh. Titans get the win over the Texans at NRG Stadium, 32-27. A game of first for Tennessee. It was Will Levis's first AFC South win as the Titans quarterback. He finished 18 of 24 for 278, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. He was also sacked 8 times. It was also Tavondre Sweat's first career sack that set up the Titans safety, and Jarvis Brownlee snagged his first career interception. Here was the call from Titans Radio.
Quick throw. Intercepted Brownlee. He did throw it right to him. Brownlee tackled at the 20. And Brownlee has his first career INT.
Texans fall to 7-5, while the Titans improved to 3-8. And even with the win, the Titans currently hold on to the 6th overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. Sunday Night Football, you got to see a lot of grown men give up as the Eagles and Saquon Barkley ran wild for the win, 37-20. Saquon finishing with over 300 total yards, 255 on the ground, including 2 70-plus yard touchdowns. With the Eagles win, the Eagles moved to 9-2 and remained 1 game behind the Lions for the number 1 seed in the NFC. You got Monday Night Football tonight. Ravens at SoFi to take on the Chargers. Kickoff is at 7:15. For all your foundation repair and your waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Second half of the show in hour number 3, getting started on a Monday morning that comes with victory. We call it Victory Monday around here. Ramon, Kayla, and Will. Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, Will Bowling. 615-737-1045 is the number as the Titans beat the Texans 32-27. We'll talk with Jeffrey Simmons in 1 hour. You'll join us at 9 a.m. this morning. Looking forward to catching up with Jeff after a huge win for the Titans yesterday in Houston. Austin Price going to stop by in 15 minutes, talk some college football as Tennessee beats UTEP 56-zip, and Ramon Foster was not that far off on his score prediction of 77-0.
I needed more. You
needed Gaston Moore to fling that thing.
Gas pipe, baby.
Gas pipe.
Say it.
Fling that tater. Yeah. Needed Gaston Moore to fling that tater. The tater was not flinged, but Navy Schuler did fling it a little bit.
Yeah, he did.
Cool to see him in there on senior day.
Real quick, can we
he's
talk
a redshirt senior.
Yeah, but a lot of young guys were able to play in that game.
Can we get UT Junior real quick too, or Tex real quick? By the way, the footballs are made out of what? Cowhide?
Pigskin. I don't know.
I think it's cowhide.
Okay. You would know better than me.
The Texas players, if I'm not mistaken, they got an interception, and they ran the ball all the way down to Bevo. Are you showing him what he's going to turn into after the fact? Am I wrong for thinking no, stop showing him his people. Stop showing Bevo what he's going to turn into.
That
when
was
he
my
gets
mom.
Yeah. Texas players.
John, is that you?
I know we say flinging the pig skill around.
Smells like John.
I think it's cowhide now, is it not? I don't know what the football is made out of, but I ain't like them flexing in front of Bevo like that. I'm gonna be real with you, Peter. Where were you?
That's your takeaway for the college football weekend is Texas and their cannibalistic efforts.
Yeah,
talking to Bevo about his former relatives being turned into a football.
He ain't asked for that.
He sounds miserable.
Be aware, man.
Talking Titans this morning, 32-27. They beat the Texans. A lot of discussion about many of you who are not happy they won. Hashtag take, not tank. Take wins. Don't tank for L's. Let's go to Micah in Kentucky, who's up next, talking Titans on the phones with us this morning. Hey, Micah.
Morning, Micah.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Good morning.
Yeah, I just don't understand these people that just want them to tank. I would think after these last few years of watching the same old song and dance every time, they would want Will Levis and a few to get a little better here and there. If they just slack off, they're not going to get any better. He's going to have some ups and downs, but I think he's got some potential. Now, I think he's going to have a lot of phone calls if he goes out and does awful next week, but overall, I think everything looked better. The only thing I don't think that people's talking about is the special teams. I don't know what's wrong with Stonehouse, but I haven't seen how high the punts are getting now, but he's not near as good, it seems like, as, putting the air underneath the ball and get on time to get down there. And the coverages are just awful. I don't know if that's a coaching thing or what, but it just seems like that, most games that I watch, you just don't have the special teams errors and giving up as many yards as what the Titans do. It just seems like every week. And I'll be honest, watching the first play of the game, it was like, oh, here we go again. But I think everybody just ought to pump the brakes a little bit and understand that I would rather go get, one or two good players and develop them every year versus having to feel like you're doing half the team and making sure they get better every single year. You're not going to get very far.
No doubt about it.
Doing that every year.
I think what on the special teams point that he bring up, like even in those bad moments, like it's perception, it's reality.
So with Stonehouse, Jim Wyatt did put this out after the game. He averaged 50 yards on 5 punts, 45.2 net with 2 punts placed inside the 20 yesterday. That is his 18th consecutive game with at least 1 punt of 55-plus yards, the longest streak in the NFL. Maybe the consistency hasn't been there as much with Ryan. I know he had the one go off the side of his foot that was bad yesterday, but by and large, I don't think it's some major issue with Ryan as much as it is a special teams unit that is being coached by a guy who is in way over his head in Colt Anderson.
More, and like I said, more than anything, when stuff goes bad, it's just like, oh, well, here we go again, because it's been so much of the same for him. And again, the 80-yarder happened, penalties here. Now, like, it's just like, okay, well, what's next? All right, we fixed the block punch, right? But now we can't get the punts down the field the way you want
kicks.
to. Yeah, and
kickoffs are becoming a bigger issue than punt team now.
They are. So it's one thing after the other, man. And it sucks that, of course, it continues to happen. But again, you overcame.
Yeah.
And at least what it does is gives you a little bit, Kayla, grace and going into the next week to say, okay, well, if we fix this, we'll be better. That's what winning also does. It hides those, because we probably should have opened up with those types of conversations on how the special team still continues to show his ugly head.
And look, there's a lot of individuals who aren't making the correct plays either. And you do have to put some of it on the players themselves. And I know I heard Blaine Bishop specifically talk about that too, is a lot of that is on the players as well. It overwhelmingly, though, you hear the cries of, fire Colt Anderson, et cetera, because somebody has to take responsibility. Unfortunately, I feel like this season, like Brian Callahan is doing with a lot of these, coaches and really himself learning, I feel like he's going to give Colt the whole season to kind of prove that he is going to be the guy that comes back next year or not.
Yeah.
Andrew Portland is next. Hey, Andrew.
What up, Andrew?
Good morning. How we doing this morning? Good. So I'm going to come in here with a little bit of logic, because y'all know I don't come in here with hot takes. I come in here with truth.
Love it.
If you really think that tanking is the best idea, you're insane. Here's the thing. At this point in the season before yesterday, I was going, hey, you know what? At this point, it really doesn't matter. Let's try to be competitive. Let's try to win games. But I'm fine with losing the games as long as we're competitive, because I want the best draft pick at this point, right? But yesterday during that game, when I saw the fight of those players, I was sitting there screaming on my couch, texting my buddies, we need this win. And they did need that win, because what could go wrong did go wrong, and they were still able to overcome it. And that right there is what launches you into a successful season next year, more than getting the number one overall pick, in my opinion, because then you've got to learn how to win. And it's hard to do in the NFL. So that win right there, that win was more important than any draft pick you can get. So just stop with the nonsense. This is not your Madden 2025 console game. This is real life. These are real people. So just stop. Love y'all. See ya.
Thank you, Andrew.
Peace.
It's good hearing your voice.
Andrew knows ball.
He does.
Comes in with good takes.
Will is in Antioch. Wrapping up our Titans discussion here to start up our number 3. Hey, Will.
What up, Will?
Good morning, team. Love y'all. Keep up the good work and everything.
Thank
but
you.
what I've been missing from y'all for the last 20 years, what about the tight end position? What about the play calling? What about the fullback in the backfield? What about the smash mouth football that we was built on to be a real team, competitive team, and we just went away from it like it don't exist no more? I'm going to listen to y'all response, and I'm going to hang up. Keep up the good work. Love y'all.
Well, you too. Appreciate that.
I mean, I don't think this is the right day to say the tight end position isn't good enough anymore because your tight end had the 70-yard touchdown to win the game.
Yeah.
So I
do think they've
it's
gone away
2024.
from that, though. That's just the day and age of the NFL.
That's
And
football
the
now.
Titans finally felt like they needed to make that move to a type of offense that was maybe not ground and pound. And it's going to take a minute to get there, but we saw hints of brilliance last night in that game. So, unfortunately, that's just the way of the NFL right
It's
now.
still there. It's in different formats.
Yeah.
Because Nick Vannett is one of those lead block type of guys. He had a good bit of those and those peel back blocks for Tony Pollard yesterday.
Sure.
You're just not seeing a I formation with a fullback leading the way. And again, there should be, and I think there is a package that Coach Callahan would have when it comes down to 4-minute football or controlling a drive as it pertains to the offense getting started. It's there. But it's just in different forms. Now, you got to think, we still had the big, long conversation about how they kept 5 tight ends.
That's very true.
You know what I'm saying? And so, I mean, you got 2 tight situations as opposed to a fullback and a tight end situation more than anything these days. It's there.
Coming up next, VolQuest's Austin Price will join us, recapping a very successful weekend for Tennessee, 56-0 over UTEP. But everybody who needed to lose essentially did. We'll also talk about the 5-star Vols commit, the cornerstone of their 2025 class, who is looking elsewhere. Austin Price gives us the latest next.
Hey, it's Kayla Anderson talking about one of my favorite restaurants in town. It's not a new restaurant. It was actually born right here in Nashville back in 1971. O'Charley's has been serving up Southern hospitality ever since. They've got locations all around Middle Tennessee. There's one right in Bellevue. In fact, got some last night. Love their new grilled chicken meal. Their chicken tenders are incredibly tasty. The menu goes on and on. Every day of the week, they're going to roll out a special for you. Today, you can actually order and pick up those juicy chicken tenders. Get the honey mustard on the side, too. It's very good. The golden fries and hot rolls plus a drink, and it's just for $5. That's right, $5 if you order and pick up today on a Monday. And maybe you want a good option for this afternoon. You can check out O'Charley's $9.99 lunch hour combo. Pop in, have lunch, choose 2 items and a drink for just $9.99. That's all, always Monday through Friday, 11 to 3. I'm telling you, if you want more bang for your buck, when it comes to grub, O'Charley's is the place to check out. Get more value, more choices all day, every day at O'Charley's.
The glass has broken 24 hours than it typically does. That means VolQuest's Austin Price joins us here on RKW. Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, Will Bowling. A short week means our schedule's all mixed up. We talk some Vols here on this Monday morning with the authority on Tennessee athletics coverage. VolQuest and On 3 are excellent partners here on the show. Austin Price, who joins us now at Austin Priceless on Twitter. Austin, what's up? How are you, sir?
How we doing, guys? It's Monday.
It is a victory Monday for the Titans, for the Vols. And Austin, I think about everything Tennessee wanted to happen on Saturday happened. Is it fair to say in your mind, Austin, that Tennessee is the biggest winner of the weekend in college football?
Absolutely. I think had all the teams that lost Saturday in front of them, had they just continued to win, minus Indiana, because one of those teams had to lose, I think Tennessee probably would have been in a tough spot. But now they're in a great spot, and it's win and you're in. And there are, if you don't make it, that's on you. It's not going to be because some committee member decided, man, we need to have fairness. We need 4 Big Ten teams and 4 SEC. And like now it's like, if you win, you're going to be playing in the college football playoff. Now, obviously, their spot in the playoff can change. Like they can either go from currently, I think, a team that will be on the road in the first round to potentially a team that is hosting a first round game, depending on this next weekend and what happens in front of them. So, and that's a big deal too, because let's face it, Tennessee at home and Tennessee on the road, kind of two different things in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely are. Austin Price of VolQuest and On 3 with us. So, Austin, 56-0 on Saturday against UTEP. What was the biggest positive out of this game, in your opinion?
I think the defense kind of getting back to, totally, being very disruptive. I mean, they had 15 tackles for loss, and I get it's UTEP, and they're not very good, but, they lived in the backfield all day. They were able to get a lot of pressure, and secondary kind of, looked a lot better when you got, a couple of picks. And, offensively, I don't know. I mean, Nico started really, really slow. He kind of got going, though, in the second quarter, and, they kind of figured it out. And, of course, everybody went to the bench when it kind of got out of hand. So I think for me, it's just staying somewhat healthy. You didn't come out of that, with any kind of new injuries. And now you go into Vanderbilt, again, about as healthy as you can be for a team playing their 12th game of the year.
So, Austin, there was the win on the field. Off the field, kind of a developing story. Is David Sanders the cornerstone of this class, number 1 tackle in the country, according to On 3, visits Ohio State. He's been committed to Tennessee for a while. What's the story here, Austin? Because this feels like something that has kind of come out of nowhere a little bit. And how much is Ohio State really in play here as this thing goes down to the wire?
Well, I think Ohio State's very much in play. I think this was an agent-driven trip. And kind of we'll see where things go from here. But this is a development that is rough for Tennessee. They knew there was a possibility that he would go visit somewhere, and he ends up at Ohio State, which is not a shock. That's one of the teams that finished second or third or whatever you want to call for his services back when he committed in August. So Tennessee is going to try to see if they can hold on to him here, but at the end of the day, it's late in the game, so we'll see what happens. But obviously not a great development. Do not think it's done one way or the other as we sit here on this Monday.
VolQuest, Austin Price with us this morning. Austin, as it pertains to, at this point, if it's agent-driven, and that means it's money-driven, right? Agent don't care about your play. It cares about his pay. Will there be an ability, if they do drop a bag towards David Sanders, that the Vols will counter as far as the collective goes?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's just overall figures, right? I think Tennessee has always been clear-cut ahead in the overall money number, Ramon. I think this is kind of other nuances, other parts to it, and so we'll see kind of where this goes. Obviously, I don't think it's it's not a great sign. I also would be the first to tell you I don't think that it's for sure locked that he's gone as of right now. So we'll see what Ohio State comes up with, what they're willing to do, what they're not willing to do. And then, again, I think this will be something where, you'll probably hear from David and his family over the next 7 to 10 days.
Yeah, so when you look at this, of course, you're going to all across the social media anywhere, right, that people have opinions. It's brought up, the last I feel like almost 3 years now, having a high pick or having a high recruit at tackle and not being able to close it. Is this a positional coach, blame on this one? Or is it the offense? I see a lot of people asking for Coach Glenn Ellerby and his ability to develop and, retention of recruits. Where do you start looking at? Because people are going to want heads to roll as it pertains to these type of flips happening if it does happen.
I think every situation is different. And so I don't think it's a cookie cutter situation. What happened with Francis Malino, what happened with Jordan Seaton, and what happened with David Sanders, are all three kind of different things in certain ways. With Jordan Seaton, Tennessee had the best NIL offer. The kid and his uncle told everyone as much after the fact. He just boiled down to he wanted to go play for Dion. Ain't much you can do about that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can, have the best situation, but have the best offer, and the kid just wants to do something else. It could be something as simple as you could offer an in-state kid the best situation, NIL offer, and he's had a rough time where he lives in state, and he just feels like he needs to get away. That has happened on numerous instances to help Tennessee and to hurt Tennessee over 30 years, right? So I think there's no clear. I'm trying to use my words carefully. There's no clear way to divvy up the blame, so to speak, for not landing any of those three if David Sanders doesn't come. Now, again, I'm not ready to go there. Just like some of the Ohio State people said, we're not ready to call this one done for Ohio State. I think it's still a work in progress, but I get it. I get the angst out of Tennessee fans. I would also tell you that Tennessee fans have said the offensive line is just kind of average the last 4 years, right? They've nobody outside Darnell Wright, and it's not like they've had a bunch of high draft picks. And they ran for 2,500 yards the last 4 years, every year, 2,500 yards. Mm-hmm. So, I guess, you got to think of the big picture. Again, you want the best players you can get. Is it an end-all, be-all? I don't know. I think that's up to everybody else to decide.
Austin Price joining us as he does, switching up times today because of the short week. So, Austin, when it comes to preparing for Vanderbilt this week, when you look at this game against UTEP, I guess one maybe beneficial thing is when he was healthy playing in this game, their quarterback has similarities to that of Diego Pavia.
Yep, 100%.
How can you prepare for that and kind of know maybe a little bit what you're going to get out of Pavia, who, by the way, is a better player, I should say, but there's similar characteristics?
No doubt, 100%. You can't totally simulate Pavia, but at the same time, there are some similar traits that will give you a little bit of a simulation of kind of what it's going to be like, and I think that helps. I think that definitely helps. But at the end of the day, there's a moxie for Diego Pavia, a bravado, so to speak, that he's going to play with that, you can't simulate. And, again, this will be Vanderbilt's Super Bowl. They've been so improved this year, and Clark Lee's done a fantastic job, and, they've got a chance to end their season 7-5. They have a chance to ruin Tennessee's season and eliminate them from the playoffs. Both teams have a lot to play for, and, I do think this game at 11 a.m., not that, Vanderbilt Stadium at night is some juggernaut, because I wouldn't say that, but I think the 11 a.m. kickoff where Tennessee doesn't have to sit around all day. They're a morning practice team. They're normally better in early games. See LSU 2022. So, I think that helps Tennessee, so to speak. It's going to be cold, and, we'll see what kind of wind there is Saturday. But I think this is something where, it should be a really good football game between these two teams. And, we'll see if Tennessee can figure out a way to eke out a win and move on to the college football playoff.
Austin Price with us here on RKW this morning, talking about Tennessee football as they get ready for Vanderbilt this weekend. I know you always get the questions about, the tempo. Has it progressed this year? And there's been so many things that have, hurt that in terms of penalties or incomplete passes. But have you liked the I guess, what you're seeing at this point of the season with maybe that getting better, the tempo?
Yeah, I think they use it in spurts. I don't know if they're ever going to be like they were in 22 with the tempo of this team, but they do use it in some spurts. And I think the more you can get Nico in rhythm early with tempo, I think it probably helps him. I think when you go back to Georgia, what did you see early on? They used the tight ends on that first drive. They got in some tempo, and he started to click. Saturday, not as much working the tight ends early in the first quarter, and they weren't engaged in the tempo, and I thought he wasn't quite the same. So I think for Tennessee and for Nico, the best thing you can do is just kind of, it's almost like, having a shooter that, you start in close and you work your way out. I think with Nico, same thing, like let him see a couple of completions, and all of a sudden I think he gets into a better rhythm and a better flow. And so I think, using the tempo to do that is something that probably I think Tennessee would benefit from. I don't know if they're going to do it as much as they did in 22 because they haven't to this point. But I do think in spurts, especially early in the game, in a scripted drive, that can help.
Austin Price of VolQuest and On 3, our guest this morning on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. Austin, Boo Carter is electric. I'm thinking of 16 years ago, a guy with number 14 in a Tennessee uniform against Vandy who had an interception return for a touchdown in a game that Ramon Foster was playing in named Eric Berry. I mean, this guy, I don't think that's a crazy comparison, Austin, is it, when you talk about a DB with the ball in his hands? How big of a star does Tennessee have in Boo Carter in your mind?
Well, super tough. Kind of just keeps the legs churning even when he gets hit and tough to bring down. And you're right, he has a lot of electricity in his punt returns. And the kid just has that it factor. He's not scared. Even at the one he dropped Saturday, he just hop back on and say, okay. He's not affected. He has no conscience. And I think that's the best thing you can say about Boo is he just plays the game, he plays the game with a love, a passion, and, doesn't fret mistakes. Like, he understands stuff's going to happen. He also understands that things are going to happen positively. And he is so twitchy and elusive returning punts that it's given Tennessee, I think it's helped the Tennessee offense, kind of like D. Williams did the last few years. Like, when you can set your offense up with short fields, I think it just gives them a jolt in the arm where they're not having to drive 75 and 80 yards the whole game. And, even if, obviously Saturday he had a few decent ones, but even if it's just 15-yard return and not 45 or 50-yard return, that helps. And he just does a fantastic job of flipping the field back for the offense. And I think the offense, paid that back Saturday, and I would say they'll pay that back going forward.
At VolQuest.com, you find visits with Isaiah Campbell and DeJuan Morris, the local product who caught up with Austin, with Matt Ray, doing a great job talking with those recruits about their official visits over the weekend. Austin, how much did Tennessee help themselves with those two prospects in Campbell and Morris this weekend?
Well, I think both the rubbers meeting the road, for them in their recruitments fairly soon. Campbell, sometime early this week. DeJuan Morris, I think is heading towards a decision very soon. So, I think Tennessee improved their stock with Morris a ton. I think, they've been trending there hard for a while. I think this weekend only solidified that. With Campbell, he is an interesting kid. Like, he's a tough read. I think Tennessee moved the needle there. I don't think you come back over here and drive the 6 or 7 hours from Durham, after the North Carolina official visit, just to watch a game and hang out for a little bit if Tennessee's not a major player. But, the academic side and being 20 minutes from the house is something that North Carolina continues to weigh on him. But again, I think if in most instances you read kind of where the visits, you follow the visits, and Tennessee got the last visit. So, I think North Carolina rightfully would be worried about him coming back to campus after his official visit where they felt so good just a week ago.
Austin, one more for me, man. Is picture made social media just waves as far as Vol Twitter goes. There is support as it pertains to Omar Norman Lott and his lack of support on Senior Day, correct? I think it was logistics I heard around his situation, but I know a lot of Vol Nation was really backing him, man. As that picture was, if you that type of person get emotional, it was a little heartfelt seeing him solo like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think Coach Garner offered to go out there, and he wanted to take the picture alone. And,
I heard he had a little bit of a wall.
And I get it. I mean, I had people messaging me, and, my daughter's former third grade teacher, she messages me on social media, and she's like, "I'm crying in the stands. This makes me so sad." And I think everybody kind of got that way. Omar is a guy who's, he grew up in Sacramento. He was on Ball Club Confidential, and he talked about, seeing some people get, shot and murdered by gangs and stuff. I mean, he's kind of a hardened guy, and, Coach Garner did offer to go out there with him, and he just wanted to be out there and take the picture by himself. And, obviously there's been a lot of support for him, and rightfully so. And, Omar's a good kid, man. He plays the game and loves football as much as anybody.
Right.
Great time to get a VolQuest subscription with Tennessee pushing for the college football playoff with David Sanders recruitment and National Signing Day coming up down to the wire. Check him out, Austin Price at Austin Priceless on Twitter. Excellent as always, Austin. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you guys. Happy Monday.
Yes, sir.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Austin Price joining us this morning. A lot of good nuggets there.
Yeah.
And you're exactly right. I know if you're unfamiliar with what happened, Tennessee was Senior Day. They put out a video of everybody with their families on the field, and Omar Lott, the only guy that was by himself. And it was really sad, man.
Yeah.
100%.
That's tough.
That's
I didn't realize he was from SAC.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Transferred from out there.
Arizona State.
State. That's right.
Arizona State transfer.
Potential future Big 12 champion.
Yeah.
Arizona State.
Arizona State.
Playing well.
Running it up.
Yeah, 56-0 of that Tennessee after a really slow start. Looked good. Scoreless after the first quarter. Nico Imaliava went from 0 to close to 10 pretty quickly. Not a good start for Tennessee's QB, and he figured it out.
Yeah.
He did.
Part of it.
Mm-hmm.
It is a part of it, man. That slow start, of course, can be agitating to watching it. I mean, to go through the first quarter and not have anything going on, that right there is, all right, lack of focus, shenanigans, Senior Day, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, but you need to be able to go, foot all the way down past the gas pedal on teams like that. And they did eventually.
Yeah, and it was good to see, like we talked about the guys needing big games, right? And you saw Brew McCoy, one of those guys that I think it was cool to see him go out on Senior Day the way that he did. But then you also saw the opposite of some of these younger players really getting more opportunity to play. It happened at the beginning of the year with some of these games that they were blowing out teams, and then to have another kind of game where you can have these guys get experience, it only benefits your team in the future. You got to love that too.
Oh, you're so real about that. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Coming up, we will wrap up hour number 3, continue our college football hour. Florida and Oklahoma.
Woo.
Thank you for your service. That's next. I love talking about Whataburger because, I love Whataburger. 24/7, 364 days a year. If you're out there hungry any day other than Christmas in Middle Tennessee, I got good news for you. You have a Whataburger near you, especially if you are in Hendersonville. You got the newest, the shiniest, the grand spanking new Whataburger right there. 164 East Main Street. And guys, I know Thanksgiving is coming up this week, but there is never a bad time to celebrate the holiday season at Whataburger. You can savor the holiday flavor because, guys, white chocolate peppermint is here for a limited time. Add this festive flavor to your hot or iced coffee, or better yet, make it a dessert. Shake things up and add the creamy vanilla shake base for a holiday sweet treat. You need one of those a day, absolutely. And you can get more than just one at Whataburger, the all-time favorites menu. I love the honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich, the burgers, the bread. Everything is fresh, delivered daily to the stores. Check them out. Download the app. Order ahead when you get there. It'll be hot, fresh, and ready for you right as soon as you pull into one of their 17 Middle Tennessee locations, now including Hendersonville. That's Whataburger, just like you like it. A little bit of mustard on the meatloaf yesterday. Titans get the win 32-27. Jeffrey Simmons going to join us coming up in 15 minutes. I think Jeffrey Simmons would love to hear that piece of audio.
Love to hear that, Bert.
Yeah. I made one for him.
Oh,
nice.
Did you? Okay, well, that is how we will begin our chat with Jeff coming up.
There we go.
In 15 minutes. Wrapping up the college football hour here, though, in hour number 3. Florida Gators, we thank you for your service.
You all right over there?
24-17. Florida beats Ole Miss.
Maybe it's that mustard.
And Ramon is still smiling despite the fact that he's hocking up a lung.
Man, just sneezing over
Got a sneeze attack. Those mustard seeds.
Jackson Dart just insisted on throwing a season-ending interception.
Oof.
He said, here's another one for you. Oh, take another one for you. Against Florida on Saturday. Ole Miss outgained Florida 464-345. They were 2 of 4 on 4th down, but 3 of 14 on 3rd down. Caleb Banks, 2.5 sacks for the Gators. DJ Lagway didn't have to do a ton, but man, he shows flashes of greatness, doesn't he?
He does, man. Can I say something real quick and sound like the old hater
You can say
guy
whatever you
real
want
quick?
to.
I know, but this is why Jackson's our situation is why I get crying in sports, and I know it's heartbreak that happens, but this is why I don't like crying in sports.
You mean Caleb Williams back in the day?
Caleb Williams, I mean that too. I mean, it could be perceived as that, but like immediately in those moments where you had an opportunity and more time on it, I don't like it because you let your emotions take you over. And you ended up getting the ball back, and you threw another interception and cried again. Like, that's
mid-game crying, different level than maybe even post-game crying as well.
I don't want to see it at all.
C.J. Stroud was about to cry yesterday, too.
Yeah, he was.
In the middle of the game.
And I'm unemotional. I am like that at times. Like,
Sure.
I'm just not that type of guy to just tear up like that from time to time. And maybe I should. Maybe I'm the problem. Okay, maybe I'm the toxic one here. But I say that to say, like, and you're never out until you're out. And I didn't like that out of Jackson Dart. On Saturday. But, I mean, when you got DJ Lagway on the other side, I've had people I know be like, y'all better pray that boy out of the SEC. Because he looks like
he's
that.
catching his stride,
He
right?
played it well. And not just that, he was able to dot him down the field and everything, man. They played a game. They did. They deserved to win that one.
We do our headlines for Titans, and it just came to me that, Dart missed the mark. Maybe that's the headline for this game, because that's exactly, what happened in this game. I know you can't put it all on the quarterback, but he was a big part of the reason why they lost. And you're right. I counted out Billy Napier. I counted him out last year, man. Yep. And I'll admit, I feel like this team continued to fight for him. I give him a lot of credit for that. It's good that DJ Lagway is a part of that. Yesterday, too, Saturday, they got the run game going. Montrell Johnson Jr., over 100 yards on the ground for Florida. So they were doing everything they needed to do to get this upset. And lo and behold, it happened.
This is who Ole Miss is under Lane Kiffin. Don't let the Georgia win fool you. I was partly fooled. I thought the Georgia win might have been a sign of a new era of Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss. All they are is overpaid underachievers.
At this point.
Yeah. That's what they are. They have no excuse to miss the postseason this year. They had an easy schedule. They scheduled no one in non-conference. I know they had Georgia, but Ole Miss, goodness sakes, Lane. 17 points against this Florida defense. I know Trey Harris got hurt. He just come back. Billy Napier's last stand. Good for him.
Good for him.
And good for the Gators program that honestly has a lot of really talented freshmen and sophomore players that are going to be back next year. Lane has really got to look himself in the mirror because the yellow brick road was paved and wide open for you, and you crashed out. And Princely Umami Ellen trying to fight Florida fans after the game as well. That is a sign of culture.
Yeah.
And transfer culture is difficult to pinpoint because you bring in a lot of guys who you did not identify early and raise within your organization. It's like relying on free agency versus draft.
Yep.
This is who Lane Kiffin is. And until he makes the playoff and convinces us otherwise, this is your identity, Lane.
This is where, to your point about identity, where I may end up having to walk back some comments about Dabo. Dabo is at least saying, I'm going to recruit through high school, and hopefully we don't lose him through the portal and everything else. But you know what he establishes, Will? What type of guys he got in the building. And here he is right now staring at a top 10 recruiter, a top 10 ranking right now.
And then there's Alabama.
Ooh.
Oklahoma 24, Alabama 3. Listen, Alabama fans, winning at Oklahoma isn't for everyone. It's for some of us. What a tough place to play. There are some teams that can overcome the crowd, the noise. Even further, a night game in Oklahoma. That's really it's okay. It's not for everybody. Certainly wasn't for you, Jalen Milroe. I thought they'd found their new identity offensively. Boy, was I wrong. I think Jalen Milroe's game against LSU told us more about LSU than it did Alabama. Clearly, because Jalen Milroe was shut down. 15 rushing attempts, 7 rushing yards. 7 single digits, 3 interceptions. Kalen DeBoer now, guys, has 2 losses as a 2-score favorite as the head coach at Alabama. Nick Saban let that happen 3 times in 139 games.
Yeah,
where he lost as a 2-score favorite.
I'm not happy. And if those types of things continue, I'm telling you, the voices will get louder there in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, because they're not going to tolerate that. And you had mentioned Jalen Milroe maybe finding his identity, and they find the identity in him and his run game. In every game they lost this year, to Vanderbilt, Tennessee, and now to Oklahoma, he's not rushed for over 11 yards. So clearly you shut him down in that way.
That's exactly right.
And you're going to lose, and Alabama's going to lose the game.
Hey, Bert, I said what about going from Nick to DeBoer? I said it's like a mutation. What is a mutation, Bert, as a coach, man? It's like a half-life, right? It's like a half-life, right, Bert? Didn't I drop that knowledge a little while back? Like, I ain't saying DeBoer is not a really good coach, but going from Nick Saban, who sets a culture, that was the coach that he was, like, you can go try to find another one. Most schools do well when you got the bag and everything, and he's won some solid games this year. But nobody's Nick Saban. Right?
Ramon have one good comparison. Ramon have one good analogy, and he's like, hold on. Somebody pull out that CVS record-looking receipt out here real quick.
Right.
And say, didn't I say? Didn't I tell you? I told you.
I got receipts from 92. You hear me?
Right.
When I was about 6 years old, headed to the store. Like, get me a bag of chips.
The
stove. You feel me?
That's right.
That's all I'm saying. I kept that one, man, and there was, he's a winner. Yeah, that's cool.
Hey, but Mama, this ain't enough. Make it enough.
That's what RT Willie is telling them right now as he stick his feet in fire pits around.
I appreciate you censoring those 2 words, too.
Yeah, RT Willie, man. No. See, Nick Saban would never allow RT Willie to come around and just parade him in front of the team. And, man, boy.
I still think Kalen DeBoer is a really, really good coach.
He ain't Nick, though.
I still think that he is far from a seat that's warm or being run out of town. Like, he's still, I think, the right guy for the job. I think this shows the gulf in class between the greatest coach in the history of the sport and a really good coach. Kalen DeBoer is a really good coach. Nick Saban is the best to ever do it.
Yeah. Ain't no other way around that.
Right.
Expectations, I ain't saying lower them in Tuscaloosa. Absolutely not. It should be a winning culture, an expectation that the dude you brought in is supposed to be the next guy. But it's just different. It just is.
Yep. Crazy scene in Norman for sure as they get the win and rush the field. Look, we got to stop rushing the field so much in college football. I'm going to die on this hill.
Do it more just so Will gets
I'm gonna
mad.
die. I'm not mad about it.
Smoke coming out
The
his
worst
ears.
one was Auburn, and I thought Auburn would win against A&M, but why are you rushing the field against a team that was only a 2.5-point favorite against you?
It was nighttime.
Because it was a win they needed.
It was nighttime.
There are a lot of wins teams need where you don't rush the field.
It was nighttime.
I'm not mad about it.
Let the kids do what they want.
No.
I love
Let
Lee.
them
No, we should not just let the kids. Plus, also, don't turn the lights off when people are rushing the fields either. That was crazy.
Oh, I was all about that.
Somebody's going to get hurt.
Yes, let's see who's going down.
Those
I'm all
dumb
about that,
co-eds
man.
can't figure out how to
They
jump
wanna
over the
rush
hedges with the
field
lights
in the
on.
dark? That's up to them.
Kayla's
I'm
dying
here
on
for
this
the
hill
entertainment,
because
baby.
they
I'm here
rushed
for
the
the
field against
entertainment.
San Jose State this
You
year,
gotta
so she's
leave
going to
them
have to
on.
take
I
all
don't care.
season.
I don't care.
Yeah, we as college football fans are rushing the field too much. It needs to chill.
Lehigh doing it was awesome. They threw theirs over a bridge into a river. That was awesome to see if y'all hadn't seen them do it.
Lehigh?
Lehigh, yeah, they
Is
had
that a soccer
upset
team?
last weekend. No.
I'm
it was
just
a college
joking.
football
I'm
team.
joking. Take a joke.
No, I can
I'm
take a joke. I was
All
just
right,
letting
let's
you know
wrap a bow
that
on
one.
this.
Y'all.
Coming up
That was
next,
insane.
Jeffrey Simmons, Big Jeff, after this.
It's Ramon Foster for Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Y'all, right now we're hitting holiday season. This upcoming weekend, man, and Hiller has plenty of cash for you with their holiday promotion, and it's giving cash back. They're giving away cash for the holidays with select purchases, of course, where you can get a $500 Visa gift card when you buy select new HVAC systems or new whole home generators. You can simply also get a $250 Visa gift card when you buy a new tankless water heater. Hiller also has other things you can take advantage of, like their $99 drain cleaning special this month. There's no better time to take care of your home than right before the holiday guests arrive. Trust me. People that come through my house, never mind, I ain't going to talk about them too much. Let's just say I've got in touch with Hiller, okay? You do the same, man. These deals are available until the end of the year, so schedule today at happyhiller.com.
9:01. Good morning. Happy Victory Monday from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I am Robert Walsh. Titans get the win over the Texans at NRG Stadium, 32-27, in a game of first for Tennessee. It was Will Levis's first AFC South win as the Titans quarterback. He finished going 18 of 24 for 278, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Also sacked 8 times, but it was also Devondre Sweat's first career sack to set up that Titan safety, and Jarvis Brownlee snagged his first career interception. Texans fall to 7-5, while the Titans improved to 3-8. Even with the win, Titans still currently have the 6th overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. Sunday Night Football, you got to see a lot of grown men give up as the Eagles and Saquon Barkley went wild over the Rams, 37-20. Saquon finishing with over 300 total yards, 255 on the ground, including 2 70-plus yard touchdowns. With the win, Eagles moved to 9-2 and remain 1 game behind the Lions for the number 1 seed in the NFC. You got Monday Night Football tonight as the Ravens go to SoFi to take on the Chargers. Kickoff is at 7:15. For all your foundation repair and your waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. Now to Big Jeff on RKW on 104.5 The Zone.
RKW, Ramon, Kayla, and Will rolls into the 4th and final hour this morning. A big conversation with Big Jeff. Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, Will Bowling, Jeffrey Simmons joins us now. Jeff, how we doing, man? Good morning.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
What's up, Jeff?
I'm good. How does it feel getting a victory, but I know a divisional win, especially over Houston? Got to be watching the sun be a little bit brighter this morning, right?
Well, definitely. Just waking up, even after that game, man, it just felt so great, even in the locker room. Like I said, I even said it after the game, to see our owner in that locker room and the discussion we had Saturday night at the hotel when Callie got up and talked in front of the team and, just talking about the game, and which, we knew that already how much this game meant, to this organization, to our owner, and, just to go out there and put a performance like we did, especially in the second half from the defense, man. It felt great. And there's no better feeling than doing it in our division, but also against a team like that. So,
Jeffrey Simmons, our guest this morning here on Ramon, Kayla, and Will.
I've been meaning to ask you this, Jeff, because we talk about this a lot on this show. When you're going through adversity throughout a season, especially with a new head coach, I brought up the fact that, at least for the media side of things, Brian Callahan has been so transparent from us. Obviously, in the beginning when things were good, but even when things, were kind of rough there in the middle, he still was the same transparent Brian Callahan. I'm wondering if that's been the case for you inside that locker room with him from start to where you are now.
Yeah, Kayla, I would say Coach Callahan haven't changed not one time. His message is the same. And he tell us, especially when the adversity hit, when we was losing, we just have to clean up. He trusting us, and like I've been said, I trust in Callie to lead this football team and to get us where we want to be at. And not one time, win or lose, he gonna show us the things that we could do better, and he's showing us the things that we're doing good. And even when we losing, it's not all about the things that we doing, they're losing the game. He's showing us the things that we doing good that we need more of. And just his energy, and you can see the passion. He want to win, and like I said, the conversation that we have, especially the night before the game, and just remember the night before we played Minnesota, when he got up and talked in front of the team, it's like the energy that you feel from him. It's like, I don't understand it sometimes, because it's just like, that's the type of coach you want to go to war for. It's not all of, he's not all like the all in the media type guy, but trust me, when he get in front of the team and, he talk in that locker room, guys listen, and guys have his back. And like I said, I think that's right there probably where it started. No matter we win or lose, he don't change. His message don't change. It's all about how can we get better and how can we find a way to win. So the same way you're doing with you guys in the media, it's the same thing with us in the locker room. We respect that especially as players in the locker room, and I'm sure especially guys who've been in this league, they can respect that as a coach, as a player from a coach. So like I say, just his energy, and he hasn't changed since he's been here. The only thing that I say he demand, and when he get pissed off, you gonna know when he's pissed off. He gonna let that be known as well. So like I said, you can respect that as a coach for sure.
Jeffrey Simmons joined us this morning on RKW after the win at Houston. Speaking of that, we talked to you guys about the division, a lot of those games in front of you. We talked about that last week, and you guys said, we feel like we have a lot to play for, which you do, and then you go into Houston, you get that win. How much confidence does that give this team, Jeff?
That was a big confidence booster. I would say, we see it. Everyone, I'm sure everybody in that locker room have some type of social media. No one give us a chance. No matter what game it is, like every single time we step on the field, which, they should. Our record don't show, and the type of, sometimes we go out there, we don't play our best football. But at the end of the day, we know who we are as a team, and we know the type of guys we got in that locker room. And I know that we could get the job done. So to be able to go out there against a team that, quite frankly, no one thought we could beat. And, we believed in ourselves. We believed in the preparation. And like I said, we came down to, especially talking to the defense on the sideline, like, we are going to win this game. Like, no matter whatever it takes, we're going to go out there, get a stop. And we did. So just to have each other back throughout that game, I think that's what you call a football team. That's the reason why you go through OTA, you go through training camp, and you get to the season. Things not always pretty, but when you're able to actually get out there on the field and I can play for each other, that's what it's all about. And now that we show that no matter what may go on through the game, as long as we have each other back, as long as we playing for each other, we can pick each other up. Offense not doing good or defense, whatever it may be, special team, like, we go out there and put the fire out, and that's what builds confidence. When you playing for each other, you letting guys know when they're coming on the field, pick your head up, we got your back. Like that's what it's about. That's the type of foundation. That's the type of culture we're trying to build and continue. That the people always think that the foundation and everything. The culture sort of just sit there in the beginning of the season. It's all about throughout the season, and that's one of the things where we try to preach throughout the season and try to keep all the message, clear and kind of throughout the season. So I think that's a big booster for us, and especially with how young our team is. That right there showed that we could play with anybody in this league, especially in our division.
Tennessee Titans, Jeffrey Simmons with us, D lineman Jeffrey Simmons with us this morning. Jeff, on the Victory Monday. Man, I have to ask you a question. I know how locker room conversations stay locker room conversations or moments, so you ain't got to give the answer if you don't want to. But after the game, I saw you beeline over to Will Levis before the TV network grabbed him, and you said something to him. Is there anything that you want to, divulge to us on the message you have for him? Because, again, if there's anybody that's taken a lot of shots this year, and rightfully so, to your point, you get what you deserve in this league. It was him. Is there anything that you said to him after the game, man, that you were willing to kind of let us know?
It's one of those things where even before the game, I just told him be him. The way he's quarterback of the NFL team, they get criticized the most out of anybody on the field. But at the end of the day, I don't care about him going out there having that turnover or whatever it may be. However it happened, it happened. But at the same time, he didn't not one time flinch. And that's a great thing and that's the thing that you see the improvements from Will. And, as a defensive guy, when you have a quarterback, no matter how many times he got hit, no matter the interception he threw, not one time did he flinch. And that's the type of player that no matter what happened, on the offense side, you go on that field and you be like, I got your back. We'll get the ball right back to you. Or we're going to go get another stop, go down there and score. Let's go win this game. And I told him after the game, hell of a job. Way to go out there and finish this game. You played your ass off. Excuse my language, but
no, you're
you can
fine.
say that
you
word.
Can say that.
That one's cool.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you played your tail off, and just is like the resiliency that he showed throughout that game. That's what it's about, man. And I know for a fact, and like I said, we all said he got criticized a lot, early on, especially before before he got hurt. And honestly, man, these last couple games, Will been playing his tail off, and that's respect to him, and props to him by just keeping his head down and believing in himself. When you have confidence and you build that type of confidence, that's when you go out there and play free, you have fun, and you help your team win football games. So.
Man, for sure. On the other side of that, man, you had a few firsts yesterday, man. You had Jarvis Brownlee Jr. get his first pick. You had T'Vondre Sweat get his first sack in front of his hometown. I'm sure his folks was there in front of him also. One thing for sure, man, is a football team is built a lot of different ways. And the youth, of course, pushes the envelope when it comes to those type of moments when they're led by guys like yourself and Arden and others, right? How big of a contribution and boost has it been to watch those young dudes, man, even through losing? Because I see JC too get frustrated, to actually contribute and help you win and the payoff of that.
First I started in my room, even like with Sweat, man, like I always tell people, with him, the sky's the limit, man. Like I see the type of the growth in his game that especially from training camp up to now, like he's continuing to grow, and he's still so young, man. Like he's still, you can tell, like he's still a rookie. At the end of the day, man, to be able to do what he do out there on that field, it's like unbelievable, man. And it's been so much fun to actually play next to a true nose tackle, man, that I honestly haven't had here. So it's like when you got that type of like guy who can dominate, especially one-on-ones, because even on that sack, man, you can tell, like, I'm like, because we were getting that protection the whole game where, when I was wrapped, the center going to come off, he going to follow me with the backside guard. And just the move that he did on Shaq Mason, like, that's what you expect out of your nose tackle, to be able to win on one-on-ones. And he should have had more than that. Even the last couple of weeks, he has been getting in the backfield. He has been winning more one-on-ones. I don't know what's his snap count, but like I think yesterday we both probably played over 70% of the snap, 80% of the snap. So it's like when you get that big, can move like that, and also in shape to be able to have that type of endurance, that's what you want out of your nose tackle. Because and I appreciate to him, and we hear it from everyone else. The way we go, the defense go. If we go out there, not energy, no energy, and you're not making no plays, then now the energy down on defense. So, and I was preaching that to him yesterday throughout the game. The way we go, the way this team goes. The way we go, when we go out there and make plays, now look at the energy. You got your sack, and look at the energy. And I even joke with him. I'm like, dang, I know you spent a lot of money on tickets. It's like you had like 40 people at the game.
That cost him.
I've seen his picture after the game, on his son. But that's cool, man, to be able to get your first sack in front of a lot of family members. And I could, just getting chills, just remember my first sack. Remember all my family came to Tennessee to my first game. So to be able to get your first sack, especially in your hometown, I know that meant a lot to him. And even with Jarvis, man, like, that's a guy who, you have saw the growth. The Nard be on him harder than probably anybody in the room. Like, I'm talking about every single day because we know how much potential Jarvis has, and it's showing. The Nard have been putting him on guys who typically the number one receiver, and right. He has held his own. Has it been perfect? No, no one's perfect, but the fact that he go out there and battle his tail off every single game, that's what you want as a young corner, especially. So just the guys who, young guys, and that just not them guys. Be able to, even like Worley, 10 minutes before the game, we found out that Hook wasn't playing. Yeah. That's the opportunity that the guys, because quite frankly, Jarvis wasn't even a starter in the beginning of the season. He playing meaningful snaps for us because we have our two starters down right now. So it's like you got guys like that can come in and you really not missing a beat. That's what the type of team you need, and that's even props to Denard by making sure everybody ready to play. So
no doubt.
And by the way, you are right. You played 87% of the snaps to Vondre, 81. So you guys led the way on the D-line. There you go.
I love it. Love it. Jeffrey Simmons with us here on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. Jeff, there are a lot of teams around this league, 2 wins out of the first 10 games that are quitting all around the league. And you see teams get worse as things don't go their way. You guys are on a different trajectory, though. You guys appear to be getting better on both sides of the ball in a lot of areas. How much have you taken it upon yourself to be that voice in the locker room, to keep guys engaged and keep motivating these players? Because, Jeff, it's clear to us that you guys have certainly not given up in any sort of context, and you might be on an upward trajectory.
I would say, man, the biggest thing for us, we don't, no matter what the record may be, no matter what's going on throughout that game, it's no quit in the team. Because, like I said, we know who we are. Like we know we have a great team. We just, like I said, the record don't show that, and sometimes the situation we get into the games, it's hard to come out. It's hard to dig yourself back out of them holes doing them games. But that just popped to us who we are as a team, and that's the foundation that we built through our training camp. When adversity strike, are you gonna quit? Or you're going to find a way to help your team, whatever it may be, help your team get a win, or if it's at practice, you're going to fix it, or you're going to move on, or you're going to cry about it, or whatever it may be. Like, this is a grown man league. This is not a league where guys going to sit around and pout and cry and, whatever it may be. Like, we trying to figure out, especially on the defensive side, what can we do better? How can we go out there, get a stop, 3 and out, turnover, whatever it may be to help our offense out, or vice versa. Offense, go down there, score. We're gonna get y'all the ball back. Whatever it may be, man. It's the foundation that we try to build through training camp and leading up to the season, And then two of where we talk about the resiliency and relentless. It's like when you can have them two things, no matter what, the highs or the lows, because we know in this league, there's a lot of highs and a lot of lows, and if you're able to balance them two, when things are going good, when things maybe not going bad, that's where you get a good team. Because we call them front runners. You don't want no front runners out there. What about it when things are going bad? Or you sitting on the sideline, pointing fingers, blaming each other. It's all about we want people who can fix the issue. Not sitting in corners and kind of, I guess I keep wanting to say the word, but pout about it.
Mope around.
Yeah.
Not sitting in the corner and trying to get in them small groups and pout about it. We want people who can go out there and fix the issue. So, and I think we have a team full of them guys and a team full of guys who want to win. So, however long it takes, that'd be my message. However long it takes, we have to play clean football. So, we go out there with a mindset that no matter what happens, we're going to fight to the end.
So I do have to ask you, this Thanksgiving week, I feel like you're the guy who brings in the turkey. Or am I wrong on this, Jeffrey Simmons?
Well, actually, I tell everybody, I said, y'all can skip y'all can skip all the food. I need my, and they want everybody in the locker room, even after the game yesterday. It was like, it's not pecan, it's pecan. I call it pecan. I'm from the South, so I call it pecan. They can skip all the turkey and all that. I just make sure, and my family knows, make sure I got me a pecan pie in the house. I have me 2 or 3 slices of that, and I'll be good.
I love it. It is pecan, by the way, and I'm from the West Coast, so there you go.
Pecan, man.
Yeah,
everybody. Look, I was talking to even I think it was Jarvis and them yesterday. It was like, what are you saying? I said pecan. Like, are you trying to say pecan? So that's they from Florida. So I was just messing with them, but yeah, I gotta make sure I have some pecan pie.
Yeah, okay. Florida's not the South. Florida's just Florida. I know, Jeff, you were also focused on a pretty big football game this weekend. I know a big one anytime the Egg Bowl's played. I mean, I feel like you could just get a healthy helping of an upset win over Ole Miss, and you'd be content, right?
Man, the way Mississippi State going, and Mississippi State season being this year, if we could go up there and upset Ole Miss, that would make my year. I don't care about all the losses we done had this year. If we could go and upset Ole Miss and ruin and spoil their playoff hopes, that'll make my year.
No doubt. It's a throw out the records kind of game, Jeff, as you know. It's one of those record doesn't mean anything, right?
I pray to God we go up there and just destroy them.
Smack them down.
It's always a close game, but we know how much that game means to the state of Mississippi, and I wish some guys had that little edge. Every time I played Old Piss, we used to have a fight. We used to dang near fight. Some type of scuffle, that's the type of robbery I'm used to. Hopefully them guys can play with a little edge like that.
I love the nicknames. See, we all have nicknames for our rivalries. I love
That's what I wanted.
Was it we call Kentucky,
and Vandy
we
Candy.
call Vandy Candy. Look, Jeff, when it comes to the season.
I love that.
Talk your stuff, Jeff.
So whoever gets a touchdown on this one, they need to raise their leg like the old celebration
Elijah
back.
Moore.
Yeah, Elijah Moore. So
Hey. That's what
great.
Yeah, I remember DK Metcalf started
Yep.
that.
Yeah,
He sure
I'm
did.
here for it,
Jeffrey Simmons, our guest, Titans getting the win in Houston yesterday. Jeff, we always appreciate you catching up with us, man.
I appreciate you guys for always having me. Always a pleasure.
Appreciate you, Jeff.
Yes, sir. There he is, the man himself, Jeffrey Simmons, joining
That's
us
good stuff.
here this morning on the show. Always appreciate his time. Morning after a win. All right, coming up next, wide open phone lines. Your chance to react to Titans and Texans. Would love to hear from you on what you liked out of the Titans win. 615-737-1045. Will Levis made some history yesterday and is leading an NFL quarterback stat over the last 3 weeks. Guys, it's a good stat. We'll tell you that coming up next. Hey, it's Will Bowling. I want to update you with exciting news from my friends at Brentwood Hearing Center. Their team of doctors of audiology, they're always committed to providing patients with the most recent hearing device technology. And their leadership team recently attended the launch of a revolutionary hearing aid, the Phonak Sphere, which is dedicated to helping patients hear well in situations where there's a lot of background noise. This thing's got a computer chip in it, completely dedicated to address speech in noise. The Phonak Sphere will help you when you're out to dinner at a noisy restaurant, visiting with friends or clients at a cocktail party, or even attending sporting events. Guys, when you go trust Brentwood Hearing Center, you can trust that they will have the most advanced technology on the market for you. It's where I go for my custom headphones, for my IFB when I'm doing television as well. I can personally vouch for how good their service and products are. If you're having difficulty hearing conversation when there's background noise, give them a call today, 615-377-0420, and schedule your demonstration of this industry-changing hearing aid technology. That's 615-377-0420, online at BrentwoodHearingCenter.com. That's Brentwood Hearing Center, better hearing, better life. RKW 104.5, The Zone. Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, Will Bowling, wide open for your Titans reaction. And we got a lot of reaction for you as well, wherever you download podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, 1045thezone.com. At the end of the show is where you get Austin Price with the absolute latest on elite left tackle prospect David Sanders. And as well, Jeffrey Simmons a few minutes ago, who was terrific.
He's great.
Good conversation with Jeff.
Yep.
It was.
He's the true leader of that team.
Yes, I almost wanted to feel like I wanted to ask him how you feel about fans that want them to lose, but I also knew that answer, and I didn't want to put Jeff in a bad spot against the fans.
He would definitely have a lot to say about that.
He's talked about it in the locker room at times already this season.
You're right. We already got that answer. We got that answer.
Yesterday, Will Levis finds a way. Once again, has a 109.3 passer rating in his last 3 games, despite being sacked 20 times. Blake Ware, who's an NFL researcher, put this out on Twitter yesterday. Will Levis is the first player since the 1970 merger to have a 105-plus passer rating in a 3-game span in which they were sacked 20-plus times. Last 3 games, 748 yards, 68% completion, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Steve Palazzolo of the 33rd team tells us most yards on 30-plus yard throws the last 3 weeks. Will Levis is number 1.
Wow.
241 yards on 30-plus yard throws the last 3 weeks. Russell Wilson and Joe Burrow, 2nd and 3rd. How significant are these 3 weeks for Will Levis and his future as an NFL quarterback and maybe the Titans quarterback?
And it's been the lead up that we've been looking for, right? First week, no turnovers. Next week, same thing. A couple more plays been made when he had that 98-yarder in the NWI, and he finally put it together. By the way, pay that man. That's what they were saying on the sideline.
Oh,
Nick Westbrook Akine, man.
Yeah.
And, of course, business is business. That'll handle itself in the offseason. But this is a payoff. This is the 3rd one. And now, at this point, I think it is fair for us to ask for consistency moving forward because that's how you sustain in this league. Yesterday, I felt like they had a guy that was going to help them win football games and not take away from them. Pick 6 happened. But considering the sacks and how he persevered through, they had, I feel like, 2 big penalties and then a score right after that. That's when I knew they was cooking with gas yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
When you have bad points of the game happen and it don't matter. It doesn't matter. I was glad to see it.
By the way, I did want to note on the penalties, they actually progressed on Sunday with the penalty categories because they, definitely took a lot less than they have in the last several games. And Houston was racking them up, which is right behind Tennessee overall in penalties in the NFL. So I thought that actually was a step in a little bit of the right direction, not shooting themselves in the foot as much. But with Will Levis in particular, I think now that he's been doing the little things well and progressing in that category. He's able to start letting loose, what we've seen from him in the past, which is the great arm. And it does wow us every time he makes one of those downfield passes. It just makes you think, okay, maybe that is why you have Will Levis here, but it was getting all the other things right, getting the mind right, which I do think that stuff is coming along. You heard even Jeffrey Simmons say it. He goes, even after, that pick 6, it's not like he was going and pouting. He just he got himself back up and it was on to the next play. So I think those are big things. And now we can maybe see more of the big arm Will Levis since all these other things are starting to come along.
Yep.
We asked on Twitter earlier this morning, was yesterday Will Levis's best performance as a Titan? 73% of you say yes. You have 5 more minutes left to vote in that. I think for me, the biggest thing about the Levis performance is there are finally enough good things to overshadow the bad things. And we said it at the time 2 months ago. Josh Allen is who he is because he'll take a boneheaded moment and then turn it into brilliance. There wasn't enough brilliance to outweigh the bad for Levis. He is still far from perfect. He is still taking too many sacks. And guys, I'll tell you what, he's either going to get himself hurt or he's going to fumble the ball more if he keeps getting hit this much. I'd rather him take sacks than turn it over. But at some point, you get sacked this much, you're going to turn it over. It's just the way the NFL works. It's the way football works in general. So there's still a lot to clean up. And I'm not taking the victory lap yet that Will Levis is the guy again. But boy, he is raising some really, really interesting questions about a tenure and about a future that I thought was over in this city and for this franchise.
I've talked to others around the organization. This is what's been said though too. Like, and this is all opinion based too. it's better for the franchise if he's the guy.
Absolutely it is.
It settles a lot of things moving forward. Even if you do have to get to a point that you can pay him, this is what you can do with him. You can push him all the way through that 4th year, right? And see how he does under pressure.
Yes.
But it's so much better for the organization if he is the guy. Whether you like him or not, like, he's been more quiet. He's not said anything while he's calculated his conversation. And yesterday, he finally got a moment. And as much as the defense did yesterday, I got to give it to him for executing and standing in the pocket and delivering passes to guys on the fly the way he did. It was, I told you, when it's bad, I'm going to call it bad. Yesterday was some good stuff.
Yeah, when it's good, there's a reason to call it out.
Pick 6 included.
Yeah.
Because they overcame it, right, Kayla?
Absolutely. They did overcome it. And it didn't get into his head, and then you go continue to make boneheaded mistakes. That's not what he did.
It was that part right there, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, too, I don't know what the future is for developing quarterbacks in the NFL because it is still a very what have you done for me
There's
lately,
no real
right?
science to it at
There's
all.
not. But I am seeing teams this year, Bryce Young getting a second chance, Anthony Richardson getting a second chance. Will Levis was never benched by Brian Callahan. Let's just make that clear. Never benched. They've believed in him from the start of the season. Now, whether or not it pans out, we'll see that. But I think I give him a lot of credit for continuing to have the same message that we are going to give Will Levis time to see what he is. And right now, it seems to be headed in a better direction.
My biggest pushback about where we are right now is, boy, I'd love to have had this start in week 1.
Absolutely.
You would be in contention for a playoff spot if you'd gotten this version of Will Levis early in the season. But to that point, you might not get the more mature Will Levis without him making those mistakes on the field.
Great point.
It's a part of the process, right?
Yeah.
That makes so much sense. It does. Because you're supposed to give him confidence, right? In this offseason.
100%.
Yeah.
And if you're
sometimes the best way to learn the mistakes of not chest passing it to the other team is by chest passing it to the other team and losing your team a game. It shuts down that gene in your, in yourself, in your brain.
I will contend that I hate to make this about me, but I think my pathway to making it through the NFL was better suited undrafted.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I hate it.
For sure.
All those things set you up for what you become over your entire career.
I hated it, right? Because it sticks with you. You got to overprove yourself. But it also created a mindset that, look, nothing's going to be given to you.
Yeah, including sitting on the bench for a while and seeing it from another point of view and being humbled.
Yeah, being humbled.
It is part of it.
It sucks to be humbled, especially publicly.
615-737-1045, the final call for phone calls. We'll get to a couple of you on the other side, your reaction to Titans and Texans, plus the best sound I heard from the weekend was in college football, way off the beaten path of a game you did not watch. But it tells you how important every game is in college football. We'll play you some outstanding audio coming up.
Hey, it's Kayla Anderson for We Grow Hair, and I've taken you along the hair growth journey. My goodness, we're already almost at the new year, and I feel like I definitely have a new, not like full set of hair, because I didn't need that, but all of the hair around my temples that I had told you about, that I was seeing on our virtual stream that was driving me nuts. It's all grown back, and it is really amazing when I put my hair back. I can tell, and that's because they have helped me out at We Grow Hair. They make everybody better when it comes to the hair growth journey. They have their PRP plate-rich plasma treatments. It's really good for, in terms of the injection, you can see growth in really 2 months. And then their FDA-approved laser therapy has been the best. For my hair growth journey, you just go in, it's 30 minutes, and you're out the door. And then they have their trademark hair transplant procedure. It's going to give you 3 times more hair in one procedure if you want to go that route. All you got to do is hop in, and they will put you on the right journey for yourself. You got to go to WeGrowHair.com, schedule free evaluations today, and get your hair growth journey on its right track. 615-376-6010. That's 615-376-6010, or go to WeGrowHair.com.
RKW wrapping up the show on 104.5 The Zone. The Buck Rising Show up next. Zach Lyons back on Cover 2 with Blade and Zach. Coming up 1 o'clock, as well as 3HL, of course, at 3 o'clock today. Ready for all your reaction to Titans and Texans, the football weekend, and a short week, so better get in your reaction while you can. You only got 3 days.
Let's go.
Jeremy is in Nashville. Final call in the morning. What's up, Jeremy?
Hey, good morning, guys. I just wanted to touch on a lot of the things you guys have talked about over the course of the morning. The first off, this thing about tanking, that is just an unrealistic expectation for the team because it's detrimental to what is going to happen to the rest of the team. You know, if you start tanking, then you start looking at the other positions and the pieces that you're trying to build around and what that's going to look like. Just a tank for the sake of getting a draft pick, you're just treading water here. You're not going to get anywhere with the building of this team. And and then also with the Vols, I feel like the hitting of the stride of the offense, I think it was after the Florida game, Heupel said in an interview that, the best offense is out there yet to be played for this team. And if they hit the stride going into the playoffs, I think that from what we've seen, just the sorts where they have had spurts of looking like the offense that you anticipate for the team to be, that they could beat anybody.
Right.
I think Jeremy went underwater in that last second.
Yeah. Your Bluetooth messed up on
Thank you, Jeremy.
but I think we got the gist
Yes,
of
we
it.
We got it. Absolutely.
It's always a lead up. You want to be ascending up. A couple of pitfalls that happen, man. That's what a football season essentially is how you really like navigate the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I think Heupel's done a good job of it this year. Clearly, if he can get 10 wins for sure on the West End this weekend, and also getting the college football playoffs. Like, he's checked those boxes. For the ones like me that didn't know what a Josh Heupel was, and I'm sure a lot of All Nation. Yeah. I mean, of course you wanted Lane, but when you got Lane squatting and put his hands behind his head on the sideline, that's 2 times we've seen that. Kentucky, he was squatting
sure is.
With the frowny face, and that ain't good Lane right there, man.
Tennessee has a chance to deliver on Saturday.
Yep.
Big opportunity, and we will talk a lot about it over the next 2 days. Game, Tennessee opens up as an 11.5-point favorite. This game is far from a foregone conclusion for Tennessee. I'm going to look into this, and I'll talk to people about it too. When's the last time Vanderbilt had a bigger game than Saturday?
Oof.
When?
I think this is one of the biggest games in Vanderbilt football history.
With the expectation on the front end?
With everything.
Yeah.
The fact that you can win a 7th game, you can finish what is one of your best seasons in recent memory with a win,
True.
and you can knock Tennessee out of the playoff? I mean, genuinely, that's what would happen. Tennessee's out if Vanderbilt beats them on Saturday, unless just Bain comes in from halftime of a lot of the fields.
They also said that Texas had a quality win over Vandy, so is that
true.
A quality loss for us? Then?
Well,
this is what they said.
We'll see.
Right?
At this
Gotta
point,
look at all
somebody with
avenues,
3
right?
losses in the SEC very well might get in.
Yeah. It's been a wild year.
But it's a big game. Whoever handles the stage better will win on Saturday. And there's a lot to play for both teams. For Tennessee, a playoff. For Vandy, the chance to knock Tennessee out of the playoff.
To your point about
means a lot.
Like Bama happened here on the West End, and it was just like, oh, you did it.
Right. There wasn't a buildup of expectations to that.
No, there was nothing to be mad at publicly. Like, Vandy fans got a real strong reason to be mad and jack up them doggone prices on Ticketmaster. What's wrong with y'all?
I know. I'm actually excited to watch this game.
Well, there's a lot of demand from Tennessee fans because it'll be a home game. So there's a lot of Tennessee fans in Nashville that want to see them book their ticket to the playoff. Makes sense.
And brother, if I had a season ticket inside that stadium, then I'd probably jack the price up too.
Cash in too.
Capitalism is real.
All right. Did you guys hear the Cal quarterback this weekend? I don't know why you would. This audio is making the rounds. Guys, college football does not play meaningless games. There are plenty of college football games that happen around America that have nothing to do with the college football playoff. The Calgorithm got another win on Saturday, 24-21 over Stanford. This was Cal in their ESPN interview postgame.
Down 21-10 at the start of the 4th quarter. What did it take to come back?
Hey, first of all, I want to give all the glory to God. That was an amazing comeback. It's a testament how tough we are as a team. I love my boys. It's amazing. I'm so proud of everyone's team. We're 6-6. We're bold bound, and we retain the axe. Go Bears forever. Let's go.
You are so emotional right now, Fernando, in this moment. What's bringing out these emotions for you?
We worked so hard. We worked worked so hard for this. I apologize for getting emotional, but it's so hard. As an offense, we've done everything that we possibly could have throughout the summer to being down, having a close game. This has to be the most special moment in my life to date.
Look around at these fans in this moment. What will you remember most from this victory today?
I remember going 98 yards with my boys. 98 yards at that moment. We told them, this is why we did the camping trip. This is why we did every Saturday walkthrough. It's why we stayed late until 9 p.m. watching film together. And so that meant so much to me to go 98 yards against a defense that's been playing great. And we ended up scoring in the clutch.
Fernando, you told us yesterday you just want to hold that axe. So go hold that axe and enjoy this.
Thank you. Go Bears. Let's go.
Fernando Mendoza.
Wow, he is having a moment, baby.
Talk your
having a
talk.
moment.
Man, if that doesn't make you happy this morning,
Look at that.
then you don't love college football.
Look at that.
I don't care who you cheer for, where you're from, or what you are. That is awesome. I'll remember going 98 yards with my boys. 98 yards. I love it. I love it so much. Fernando Mendoza, you, sir, are a king.
Man, all
That
the
is
preparation.
awesome.
Sometimes it's those types of games that,
What a guy.
it doesn't matter who it's against. It's against Stanford. For them, that means a lot.
Oh, my gosh. That's awesome. And our teammate, Dawn Davenport, just hit us with a text. She said, this kid is amazing. Covered him, and he's the best. His mom has MS, and he's so sweet with her. So, hey, man.
I love
Good for him.
He didn't cry,
Mendoza.
He didn't cry. He was emotional.
Crying after a win, we will absolutely accept.
He ain't cried.
I just got choked up. That's
Post-game.
awesome, man.
You know that's what happens when two ACC powerhouses go head-to-head like that.
Yeah, right?
Home of ACC legends.
ACC legends.
ACC.
That's what I'm talking about. All Coast Conference, baby.
The home of former ACC legend Katie Ledecky going down.
Tiger Woods upset as his ACC
Where were you when ACC legend Marshawn Lynch's alma mater? ACC legend Aaron Rodgers and Deshaun Jackson took down Stanford. Oh, absolutely. That is awesome.
Those are the
That is
few
the beauty
of the Pac-12.
The beauty of college football.
Hey,
That's
Don't
cool,
let
though.
anybody
Good for
ever
him.
tell you that there is a meaningless game in college football.
See, this
Yeah.
is,
No.
this is why players hate to lose right here. We don't get that moment if they lose that game.
A lot of dudes that play college football that aren't going to play, they're going to go pro in something other than sports. It might be Dr. Mendoza pretty soon, one day. Fernando Mendoza's a good quarterback, by the way. Maybe he's not the best example, but man, that's cool.
Oh, and congrats to TSU. They are in the FCS playoffs. They're going up to Missoula.
Look at Eddie, man.
To play Mark
Take him down.
Mariani's great.
Take down. Mark, it's Mark Mariani hate week, respectfully.
Let's go.
Enjoy
We
the
love you.
snow, boys.
Yes. Big
Go
time.
Tigers. Go Tigers.
It'll be fun.
This is a TSU show.
Yes,
It'll be
sir.
fun.
Take down Montana. We still love you, Mark. Back at it tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Stephen Godfrey will be back in hour 4 to talk some college football. We'll have much more to kick off your Tuesday.
Absolutely. Y'all got to remember, winning matters, but also your 20 fingers in your mic are always high.
Take, don't tank.